sharp sense.
At least mythologically speaking, we're living in an age of collapse. Imagination is what fuels human culture, and there's a loss of imagination and meaningful images. And so then there's a loss of meaning in life. And so everybody's struggling. No one knows what it really means to be a man. No one knows what it really means to be a woman in a certain sense. The shared stories are there of what a woman would be, what a man would be. And as I was talking, the stories aren't there of what happens when someone comes back from battle. There's a whole process of taking the frenzy out of the battle hero or the warrior. And without knowing that, people begin to think men are just these harsh, out of control kind of people, or else they're these fathers that never show up, ancient Greek myth that in the beginning, the first humans had 4 arms and 4 legs. They were big and round and whole, and they had lots of hands and stuff like that. But it was kind of boring, apparently, and the gods didn't find it all that interesting, so they whacked them all in half. And they made half of them women and half of them men. And so then those 2 halves are wandering around the world trying to find each other all the time so they could feel whole. And ever since then, the gods have been laughing a lot and having a good time. They have a lot to talk about at the end of the day. And then people are in this state of loss and longing. And so people are supposed to have moments where they feel whole. And to feel whole, in the moment of wholeness, a man can understand something about women and the feminine, and a woman can understand something about men and the feminine. And I'll go back to where we started from, in a sense. When you have mythological education and you have rites of passage, young people have moments of wholeness, moments where they reveal themselves to themselves. And those moments of wholeness are what keep a person together throughout life. And that's what's missing. And I think it's up to the older people to bring it back somehow. I don't think the young people can find it necessarily or readily on their own. I think people of my generation are supposed to find this and somehow bring it back. And the more that happens, then more imagination will come back, and I think people will have less need to be fundamentalistic because they'll imagine more of a world than the one that they're currently viewing.
Good morning, lovely people. Anyone here? there anyone here? Feels so alone. Morning. So, let's see. We put this here. Oh, now the music is gone. It's Annie! Good morning, lovely. What? Music? There we go. Does this work? Is everything broken? It's because stream didn't start. I'm here! Or what do you mean, stream didn't start? Did you break it? How do you like my new view? Nice? Damn, I'm pale. Needs to be summer. How you doing? Wet. Isn't that how we all like it? There's a dry spot over there somewhere. Good morning, Laggy, Annie, Blue. Hello, you lovely peoples. Blue is also with me in the team speak. I'll go and do this, and then hopefully do this. There we go. So, I have a couple of people with me on the team speak, and Vor is here as well. So we have which you bow chicka wow. Good joke, for good joke. So we have 3 people with me.
Thank you.
Oops, I did it again.
Thank you so much, Blue. Thank you so much for the 10. Can we get some love in chat for Blue supporting my dream here? My dream and my stream. Much love, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, let's see. We have Blue right here. We have Vor is with me on the TeamSpeak, and just joined Roasted Rat. And then there's me. So I'm autistic, or I have autism, or I am on the spectrum, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Vor is on the spectrum. Blue is an idiot. Sorry, Blue has a. No.
Agreed.
No. I take that back. Roasted is on the spectrum, and from the Netherlands as well, right? I got that right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Okay. So that's gonna be an interesting conversation there, I think. We haven't had a chance to even introduce to you what we're gonna do. Blue just yoinked you.
Yeah.
So you.
No problem.
So in the past couple of weeks, I've been doing these AMA streams, like how autism affects me, how I've seen other people been affected by autism, and today's subject is relationships in general, friendships and loved ones, family, so that kind of thing, from the perspective from people with autism and from people that have family or loved ones that are on the spectrum. So yeah, that's that. And then people are free to jump in with questions in the chat. So good morning, everybody.
Morning, mate.
I always have a very bad time starting these. It's a difficult one to I guess we can start with a small introduction for everyone. Blue, what's your like, how do you know autism? When did you first get confronted with autism, I guess you can say?
I've pretty much dealt with it all my life. I mean, my brother had autism, He's always had autism. We knew something was wrong when he was about 7, and he wasn't talking up until the age of 7. So my brother, obviously, I've spent a lot of time with. When I had my own son, obviously we realised he wasn't talking very well. He was screaming all the time and all sorts of other things. So obviously we realised that there was something not quite right. So pretty much all my life I've dealt with my brother, and obviously I've dealt with my son.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, you have a 12-year-old? 12-year-old son. Yeah, Callum, who's diagnosed.
Yeah, he got his diagnosis when he was 4.5.
What were the symptoms back then?
When he was a baby, he wouldn't shut up. He was literally crying constantly. The only way we could sort of get him to sleep was to turn the Hoover on, so that obviously there was noise in the background. He'd fall asleep watching the washing machine or the tumble dryer. We couldn't get him to sleep for love nor money. He just would not sleep.
It's not profit.
There had to be white noise all the time. Temper tantrums from a very, very early age. Generally very difficult behaviour. Difficult to manage, kept running off, was always hitting himself, punching things. If he got hurt or injured, he never used to feel the pain. He used to have temper tantrums where he'd sit on the arm of the chair and he'd throw himself off the arm of the chair, so he'd land on the solid floor, knock himself out. There was quite a few symptoms from quite an early age, to be honest with him. That's
rough. That must be That must be rough to see your kid go through that.
Yeah, another one was obviously once he'd got his teeth and his teeth had come through, he used to bite himself until he used to bleed. He just generally used to be very, very frustrated 90% of the time, and it was very difficult to see him grow up like that and actually watch it and witness it.
Hope he's got some good support for his kid. I can't even imagine I have to deal with something like that. Yeah.
But with age, obviously, he's learned coping mechanisms and he's getting better.
This kind of doesn't work, does it? So now he's 12, and then yeah, okay. Let's move on. Then we continue to the roasted. You wanna or for first? I'll leave stream up, but time for me to see. Okay, so when did you get diagnosed and why?
I think it was about the same
Have
age.
you got one old?
I had a son about 4 or 5. They misdiagnosed me at first. They thought I had ADHD.
Yeah.
Because of the same thing, I was, for example, in school, I was annoying the entire class. All the time. I was a really annoying kid. Temper tantrums twice a day at least. Stuff like that.
Violent ones, like the because the tantrums can vary.
Yeah, rather violent. Yeah.
How old are you now?
21.
21. Okay, gotcha. And then we have Vor. Completely different generation.
Yes, the old man generation. They didn't have any of this good diagnosis stuff when I was a kid. I wasn't diagnosed until I was in my mid-30s when my son was born. That was because he ended up being diagnosed because it's passed the Asperger's, unfortunately, is passed through the male genetic line.
Yeah. Higher chance, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I had the same thing for the most part in different ways. We're all different on the spectrum, obviously. As Blue's son, I have the pain receptor issues. I don't feel pain. It's very odd. I mean, you feel it, but you ignore it. So
yeah, I have this. Well, I can ignore pain. Yeah, that's
exactly. As quick as it happens, it's like, well, whatever.
Yeah. And that's
so
why
I've been with it a long time. This is my second marriage. I've been married for 22 years this year with this wife, and it's been a struggle, but a good long one. So,
isn't every marriage a struggle? Isn't that what?
Yeah, but I mean, I think we add a little extra on top of the heap.
Yeah, we do. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, mate. Totally agree.
Exactly, yeah.
Because it's.
I mean, it takes a special person to deal with us.
Yeah. Strong one. And one that can bounce back, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a strength issue. I think it's more of a flexibility issue.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. And that is me. We've already had... well, I was diagnosed when I was 12 because of... and I'm 33 now. This, yeah, violent outbursts at school, at home, and school wanted to check me out. And still dealing with the same kind of problems that I had then because of the tantrums, and how to deal with those, how to deal with overstimulation, having trying to make sense of the world, I guess, in a way. And the people that this is one of the things that people have to understand. Like, why would someone with autism be so cruel or so harsh or so cold to their loved ones? And it's because it's the safest. They are the closest to them. I think everyone here can agree to that. It's
yeah.
You go to the people that where you feel safe and you can show your true self, I guess, even if it's your demons, and you just have to hope they can deal with your demons. I guess that's one of the one way to say it, because everyone has theirs. Not only people with autism, but the directness. I know this from my family, because my sister doesn't want anything to do with me anymore because of that sharpness, because of that closeness and saying things that truly hurt, because we are hurting, or I was hurting. That was my way. Like, I'm hurting, I'm screaming for help. I need to either vent or try to make sense out of things, and by doing so, I'll just go. Oh look, Dachi. It's I don't know. So from so there's me for me and Roasted, and we throw the tantrums. How
well, I don't think it's just about the safety level either. I think that all of us that are on the spectrum here, we learn at an early age that we have to lie to other people that aren't that close to us, to not tell them the harsher details as we see them, and we don't want to be on that level of dishonesty with the people that we're closest to.
Yeah. That yeah. Because usually we have to find a way to say the things that we want to say, but say them less direct or in a nicer way. Is that's what you mean, right? I can't
right. We have to make our point more digestible to the average person, whereas we can't just be direct and say, you know what, you are being a shithead right now.
Yeah. Or this is just wrong. What you're doing right now is wrong. This is not the correct way. This is not what we. This is not how you should do that. Where we appreciate the directness, I guess.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's like for me with relationships as well. It's just with anyone. I just want like my dad. I called my dad. He's definitely on the spectrum and worse than I am, but he denies it. He wants nothing to do with any of it. Even when I touched on today, he's like not even acknowledging that I'm doing it. we're talking about it. But he is like, okay, well, we have an appointment this Sunday. We need to be there at 12. I pick you up at 11. That okay? That okay? Okay. See you then. Bye. Like, just straight to the point. Just that's what it is. Science, hello.
Just direct.
Yeah, just very direct, very clear. Okay, this is what. And today as well. Like, okay, today it's 11. We're gonna be here at 11. We do 11, and then there's nothing else to be said. And I think I always dealt with everything. This that punctual, like, and the structure and everything. If that I'm not making sense anymore because I'm trying to fit Annie's question in here. Annie asked the question. At what ages did you guys find your coping mechanism for outburst? Are you still searching? I'm still searching, personally. Because I don't have outbursts if there's no one else around. Because then there's just... And that's what makes it difficult in relationships, because there has to be a person to... I don't know. To have the outburst with. Which is not a good thing. I know I have a lot of physical signals that I'm missing most of the time that lead towards that point. But yeah, I'm still searching. I had therapy specifically for this, a 2-year session with a psychologist. Yeah, there needs to. Someone else triggers an outburst. There's internal triggers and external triggers, and I don't have a tantrum without the external triggers, without someone else saying or doing things that I can't make sense out of. And because I can't make sense out of them, it keeps circling and circling and circling. It just becomes a cyclone, and then it becomes a storm, and that storm becomes a very violent tornado, and then that is what the outburst is eventually. So then who was it Ryder? Like, who deals the coping mechanisms for the outbursts?
What do you mean? As in what sense how do I cope with his outbursts?
Yeah, obviously you don't have the outbursts, so it has to be like how do you deal with Callum's outburst? I guess that would be the question for you, and then the same question.
Yeah, Callum's outbursts can vary in different levels. I mean, he tends to get on a stage where he becomes angry. Once he becomes angry, he'll sit at, like, if you imagine a line, he'll sit just below that line below angry, so he'll be 95% angry. And basically, he won't be able to come down on his own. Doesn't matter how hard he tries, how long the period is, he'll just keep, like you said, cycling and cycling and cycling, just underneath the verge of an outburst. And to be honest, once he sort of goes over that tip and he hits the 100%, and then obviously he cries, he'll come down from his outburst, and then he's a much more loving person and can deal with his own emotion a little bit better. But it takes that initial getting over the top to be able to come back down. I mean, with Callum, we've had various outbursts from, I mean, one of the most memorable outbursts is when we'd been on holiday. It came to the final point of the holiday. We were on the last day, we'd left the caravan, we'd got the car packed, we were ready to go. And we said, just as a last one, we'll take you down to the beach in the town. We're going to have a walk up the beach and a walk around the town, and then we'll head home. As we were walking through the middle of the town, there was hundreds and hundreds of people around. He stood there and he literally turned around because he didn't want to go home. He turned around and says, help, this is not my dad. I've been kidnapped. He's kidnapped me, blah, 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 blah. And everybody in the town turned around, looked at me, looked at him. And obviously people were starting to panic that obviously I'd kidnapped my own child. I got stopped by police. Police come over, took my wife and my son to one side, and obviously my other kids had a word with me. They had to do a bit of a background check on me. I had to ring my mother, let the police officer speak to my mother so that she could confirm that obviously this was Callum, he was my son, and so on and so forth. Yeah, the outbursts can be varied in different degrees. At school, obviously, he struggles if his routine changes and they change the structure of the lesson or move the day around even slightly. It throws him off completely, and then he'll be demand avoidant, so he will not do as he's told. He'll walk around the school, he'll wander off, he'll go and sit in toilets, he'll kind of hide from the world. He can't deal with routine changes at all. I've had temper tantrums where I've served his dinner late, or his dinner's not been correct, and he's thrown it across the floor, and everything is very ritual and very routine. For me as a person, obviously, you just have to kind of have to suck it up. You have to understand that the things that he's saying that are really hurtful. I mean, he's wished me dead. He's told me he'd wish I'd just leave the family home. He doesn't want me anything to do with me anymore. He's been very, very hurtful. He's been violent. Physically punching, kicking, biting, and physically abusive towards me. To be honest, it's one of them things that you kind of just have to learn to ignore it to a degree, because you know that once he's hit that point and he's gone over the edge, he'll come back and he loves you. And like you said, you hit the nail on the head. The closest person to you is the person that you take it out on.
Yeah.
It is very difficult, but you kind of, because I've had so much experience with autism, and to be honest, like Vor said, it does go down the male genes, and to a degree, I do have autistic traits myself, but doesn't everybody? It's just kind of the way you learn to deal with everything. I mean, because of my brother, because of my son, obviously, I've got very, very good understanding of him. And sometimes I can just sit there after his outbursts and think, what on earth is going through his head? It doesn't matter how much you try, you just can't work out what is going through his head, bless him.
Is he getting to the point, or is he at the point where he himself can explain what's going on? Can he analyze? Can he
He can kind of analyze.
Still over.
But it is still very overwhelming to him, and once he's sort of lost his temper, he doesn't like revisiting it to upset him, because it starts spiraling him up again. So he kind of understands, but he kind of doesn't at the same time. As he's getting older, he's getting better at explaining what's happening and how he's feeling.
That's what I mean. Yeah, so you, okay.
I had the same.
So you, because I know I have, after it happens, I then can spend up to days revisiting that moment and trying to, okay, what led up to that event? What made it, what got me to that point where it was just so meh? Like so much negativity or so much anger or pain. Because usually it's pain and overstimulation and because I can see how it how the plan changing and going to the beach and then having so many people around you and all that noise and all that stuff without having an actual coping mechanism, like earplugs, music, having, I don't know, fucking fidget spinner. I don't know what people I don't know where that came from. I don't really know the origins, but I know a lot of people linked it to autism and people having their own. I don't see what's wrong with that, but you have a coping mechanism. Let people have their coping mechanisms, for fuck's sake. Beats having a 1 hour sitting with the police because you have to explain that you did not kidnap your own son and your kid is on the spectrum.
Yeah, it's quite tough. It is quite tough. But like you, obviously, he uses music now to sort of override and drown out the sounds of obviously all the people and all the busyness. He does use his music now, which helps him an awful lot.
Mm-hmm. So,
right.
Yeah. Forrest turn?
Right, but we don't have foolproof coping mechanisms for our outbursts. We don't. I'm 52 and I still have outbursts.
Yeah.
I have great coping mechanisms. I keep everything well regimented and scheduled in my days. I keep a heavy bag in my computer room so that when people piss me off, I can get up and beat the hell out of it. I've been a practicing Taoist for years, so I meditate and I still have outbursts.
Yeah. And you so then we come to the we have roasted. Do you have a lot of coping or yeah, do you still have, because we all have tantrums, I guess. I mean, everyone has outbursts in general, but
I think you'll always keep the outburst and stuff like that. I think that'll never go away because it's just something that's hardwired in your brain. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
To an extent. I know what you mean. I have a hard time accepting that myself, because I know that they will happen, but the frequency of which they will happen, that's what I learned. You can have a lot of effect with like Vore does with scheduling, knowing how to deal with situations and knowing how to set up your day, structure, nutrition, exercise, and the signals before that lead up to a tantrum, knowing to being able to recognize those and then have a fitting way to deal with those. I guess that is a coping mechanism. So you cope with the signals that lead up to the tantrum, because when you have the outburst, that's just how it is. And people have to roll.
There's
with
no stopping it.
People have to roll with those punches. People just have to roll with the punches, and that is horrible on both sides. Like having to deal with your kid having an outburst like that. I think it would be very difficult if you are not able to laugh that away. I think my sister is one of the people that is not able to, doesn't want to understand it, and not able to laugh it away. A lot of the things. I know my sarcasm is deeply grounded in having to deal with a lot of the shit I did in my past.
Right. Well, one of the things that was good with my son is being that level, and having a son that is that way is a huge advantage for both of you, because then you understand exactly where he's coming from.
Yeah, I have that with Faye. I'm not saying she's on the spectrum, but I recognize, like, obviously she's a girl, so it's kind of different, but she does have that this is not the food I want kind of thing. There's subtle things. It's not that.
Just subtle traits.
Yeah, where you can say, oh well, this seems to fit the same. This seems to fit the way I deal with the problems, or dealt with situations when I was 4 or 5 years old.
Well, I think the problem is that you at some point you have to realize that it's about treatment and management and not a cure, because there's never going to be a cure for your outbursts. They're going to happen. It's just management.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like Blue says, you have to. He rolls with the punches. And knowing that he still loves you, and knowing it will be better after the outburst, knowing that everything will calm down after a storm. Because I had a book when I read a book when I was like, I think it was around 15, 16. It was The Quiet Before the Storm, about autistic tantrums and how people. And you can see it in my streams as well. When I get tired, when I get overwhelmed, I get more annoyed, more grumpier, more. And then I have had streams where at the end of the stream, I'm just dead. I'm either just completely exhausted, or I'll have a sort of an outburst and just take everything, all the negativity that I had in the stream, or all the negativity, someone, and it's usually a loved one, gets to be there when I empty the bucket, sort of say. Which is that's still a thing I'm dealing with, and that's the thing that why don't you do a normal job? Well, the shit I have to deal with in a normal job usually is a lot worse, and then I need an entire day to recover from that normal job and the stuff I deal with people. Because chat is a lot easier to deal with than having to sit through a lunch break with 21 people that I really don't like. Honestly,
That's
don't like.
a nightmare.
And don't want to spend time with, just so I can make money. How much do you tell potential close friends before you get fully involved with them? Both family and boyfriend, girlfriend, wife. Do you have to be 100% open from the start? Are you worried you would scare them off? I'm 100% honest nowadays. I used to
That's
be
the best, I think.
I used to be very because I got bullied a lot because of the diagnosis, and I got bullied in school because I was autistic and I was different, and that made it worse. Because Paul is autistic, and people treat me differently when they know, or some people do. Some people will treat you differently because you have the diagnosis and they don't know how to deal with it, and they're scared to ask. They're scared to have a one-to-one conversation about, okay, so this is you. I think you start with a disadvantage with some people if you tell them, because they themselves are not. But then it's not a friendship. That's how I deal with it. Then it's not a friendship that was gonna last, or is. You find out right away what is the true value of this relationship with friends or loved ones by being honest. That's my take on it, at least.
This is a big problem I find. Obviously, it's when he's had temper tantrums, when he's been on trains, he's been on buses, or in public places. People turn around and look at him, and then they assume that he's just a naughty child and he's just being naughty. But what they don't understand is, once you point out he's got a diagnosis, he's got autism, people then look at him as if to say, bless him. Now, I don't care what people say. Autism, you should not be treated differently. You're a human being, you're a person. I don't think you should treat these people differently. Callum doesn't like it when he's treated different from other people. Exactly. He wants to be treated the same. He's the same level, he's a person. He's just hyper-focuses. He doesn't need it.
And that's kind of what, like, before the stream started, Four kind of touched on that. Is that with Asperger's, at least, and I think just people on the spectrum, let's just go with the DSM-5 definition. People on the spectrum, we will try to analyze a room. Grandfather with the gift of sub to Annie. Thank you, grandfather. Annie, welcome to the murder, and enjoy the emote. Thank you so much, David. We don't want to be treated differently, so we don't want to seem different from other people. So we'll try to analyze and try to fit in the room and fit in with the other people that are in that social ring or circle. Ring. I'm so Dutch. In that social circle, so we'll try to fit in, but we don't want to be treated differently. We want to belong, because I feel fucking lonely most of the time, because I have a feeling a lot of people don't really understand me or understand what I want to, because I have a hard time understanding what I want to say, and that's why I stutter or the words come out so broken, yeah.
I've got the same.
And it's
I'm trying to say 5 things at the same time. Well, everyone knows that doesn't really work.
Yeah, and you have to grab the things, and it's very visual for me, because I have to grab all the things and all the words to make a understandable sentence out of it, and then it goes really quick. Would you hide it so you don't get pity or treated differently?
Honestly, Annie, the problem is that while we would love to be able to hide those things, that's not how our brain works. Our brain works on this is what you get, and if you don't like it, tough shit, take off. And if you do, then we're gonna see just how much of it you can take.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed.
Trying to do that.
That's what I noticed the past year. Is it gets. you hold in too much and it goes the wrong way. And if you just need someone that, like Blue does it. You need someone that is like, okay, well, I think that's the perfect way to deal with it. And I think my mom did that to a certain extent, because I told my mom she could die. I told my mom I wish she were dead. I told my dad. I told my sister. Like, I had exactly the same thing. Everyone could fuck off. I wished everyone would just fucking die and leave me alone. I didn't care about anyone. That plus a depression, and just having to deal with a kid that constantly tells you stuff like that can't be easy. I would fucking... And I can say sorry about it. I can feel sorry for myself. I can feel sorry for them, but that's not gonna change anything. That's just how it was. That's just how it is. And but it's not easy, and you need someone. You need to be flexible, I guess, what Forrest said.
Right, because being strong is one thing. It's like with other things in life that they try to teach. You know, those inspirational things. Because the strong tree will get blown over by the wind. They need to be able to bend and flex and go with the trends. Because honestly, when we say something, we mean it. That's it. At that moment, we mean exactly what we are saying. We are not beating around the bush. We are not telling you something because we're angry. We are telling you exactly what we feel in that moment. Now, that might not be how we feel the next minute, but that's how we feel right then.
That's what I told Vicky as well when I had the outburst. Like, I'm sorry I said those things. Know that I meant them at the time, but also know that it changes. Know that is not truly how I want to feel, but that's how I feel at that moment, and there's nothing else besides that feeling at that moment, and that is hard for us to deal with, and probably even harder to deal with on the outside. But holding it in is what gets, like, when Callum stays at 95%. We don't want to stay at 95%. It's a really horrible situation. Like, it's a horrible day. You'll have a horrible day staying at 95% all the fucking time. You need that out. You need something. And I like yesterday, I used the movies. I go to a movie. I cry for an hour. I just kept sobbing for some reason, because something in that movie is linked to something in my real life, and that helps me. So that's one way to deal with the shit. Roasted. Interested in Roasted's view as well, because he doesn't advertise the fact. He just goes AFK offline when he gets stressed. Okay.
Yeah, I've learned how to deal with. Well, it's not really learning how to deal with. I just walk away. When I feel like I'm getting stressed, anxiety, I walk away. That's how I learn to deal with it. Just like the outbursts. When I feel it coming up, I just walk away. That's it. I go for a walk. I'll be back in 10 minutes and I'm fine.
But on the same vein, when you do that, do you not come back, and does the problem not rematerialize? Do you not, because you've walked away and not resolved it and not gone over the edge, do you feel that you struggle to let go of what was there to start with, and it causes more anxiety in the long run?
Sometimes it does, yeah.
Yeah, because I need to.
So that's where we differ. That's where we differ on the spectrum, because for me, I can't walk away, because if I walk away, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to run that routine in my head over and over and over, and I'm going to think of all the things I should have said, all the things that I should have done in that moment, and that's just going to build and build and build until I want to go and start another interaction just so I can go through those routines.
Yeah, it brews. You're either brewing or
it does, yeah.
And you need to fix. Like, I need to fix it as well. If there's a problem, I need to fix it. I need to go and have it. Yeah, need to sort it out, because otherwise it just stays there for me. And people suggested the same to me. Just go for a walk, and walking does help, unless I guess you're over a certain threshold, a certain level, then it's brewing. And guess if you maybe that's the case with you, Roasted, where you're not at that point yet, so you walk away before that, so you already recognize the signal. And you've been diagnosed earlier. Have you had a lot of therapy, like throughout the years?
They tried, yeah. I tried as well, but for some reason it just I can't talk. I just can't. Doesn't matter how much you ask. Doesn't matter how much you try. I just won't talk.
Is that because you can't find the words? like you said, it's just because the sentences are so broken and it goes. Do you know?
That a bit as well, but mostly because I just don't know. And that's the thing I hate about it.
You just blank.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll go sit there trying to talk to a psychiatrist or a therapist or whatever, and I just don't know nothing. I nothing. Do you know what I mean?
Sort of. Sometimes when people ask a question, I'll just blank. Get that.
Well, and because at some point, your brain says, okay, I can either tell them what is going on to the best of my ability, or I can tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah, that's how I dealt with my diagnosis when I was younger. I know that in therapy, because I adapted so well that I got rid of the diagnosis because I just said the things that I know they want to hear. I know what the people are looking for, and like not making eye contact, saying certain things, not being able to see it from the other person's perspective. So it's only me. Most
You
of the time.
can't see it from someone else's perspective. We just can't.
No, I mean, that's one of the things that was with my level on the spectrum is I have a complete lack of empathy. I have no empathy whatsoever.
None.
I don't understand how other people feel. I don't understand their level of emotion. I have none of that. I have zero empathy with other people, and it's difficult to deal with. But eventually you get to the point where your view is your view and other people's are just different.
Yeah, going back to the eye contact thing as well, when you've just turned around and said about the eye contact, it really, really riles me up when people turn around to my son at school and say, look at me when I'm talking to you. I'll pull them to one side and I'll say, look, would you stand there completely stark naked and expect somebody and not feel uncomfortable? That is exactly how you're trying to make Callum feel by giving eye contact. It's ridiculous. People really annoy me with that one.
Well, not only that, but when you demand that someone with autism gives you eye contact, you are looking a pit bull in the face and staring in its eyeballs because it's going to come at you.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I thought myself to make eye contact when I'm talking to someone. It doesn't always work, but most of the time, luckily, it does.
Yeah, as have I. I mean, that's one of those, again, it's a coping mechanism where we know that what people don't understand, they fear. So we observe and we observe and we observe and we say, okay, well, how does this person react to this thing? How does their body language look? How do they deal with another person? They look them directly in the eye, and that's considered a sign of honesty. So we mimic that process so that we don't stand out.
Yeah, Callum looks at the bridge of the nose, so that he's learned to look at the bridge of the nose. So it looks like he's giving eye contact when in fact he's not really.
So do I, or I just look straight through you.
I look at that's fine because I look at the lips to understand better what people are saying instead of looking at the, because if people ask me, if I look someone in the eye, I get way more information. Like I think we touched on this last time as well. I get too much information from that person. I also know when they're lying.
If I'm talking to someone and I look them in the eye, I instantly know exactly what for person he or she is.
Or at least we like to think we do, yeah.
Well, so far I've never been wrong.
We're not wrong, and that's the thing I had with previous relationships as well, is where the person would say a lot of things, but the body language, the eyes would say something different. There's all these signs that what they're saying is maybe what they want to believe, but it's not actually what this, like, it's not true, I guess. It's kind of weird. And the eye contact thing, it's still, because people don't know why the people with autism have a hard time doing it. Because
I got an error code 2000 on your Twitch.
Oh god. An autistic party, yes, Stalin. What's up, man? That's Twitch being a cunt again. I
got it. But another thing with the eye contact as well, though, from my observations, and like I said, I'm the oldest one in here. I've been at this a long time. you look people in the eye because you try to mimic the behavior, but if you look in their eye too long, they become uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know how long you're supposed to make eye contact.
Right, exactly. I mean, and it's different per person, so at some point you just give up and you either use that as an attack against them because you don't want to talk to them. So you stare them right in the eye until they just go, okay, well, I'm done, and they walk away.
I have a deadly stare if I don't like someone.
Exactly.
Love it. I love it. I love this. Are there any questions, guys? Are we all just listening?
There's a question for you guys. Obviously, you guys have all got autism. How do you guys feel when you're around other people that actually have autism?
I loved
Oh,
it.
good God. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's great.
It's
when
amazing.
somebody understands.
Yeah.
Ovik. That's so. My last job was and the job before that actually was just working with people with autism. Oh, actually, a lot of different, like people with bipolar or and then people with actual brain damage and just low IQ. The low IQ thing was one of the hardest things for me to deal to people with autism and low IQ. I have a hard time with them.
Because usually people with autism have very high IQs. Well, very high, above average.
Yeah, it's like my
Yeah.
son. My son, he is off the charts.
How you doing, Hovik?
intelligence-wise, and it just makes him, in my opinion, right? Because I have the same value of autism that he does to an extent. To me, it just makes him that much more dangerous.
Oh God, definitely.
Yeah. I also think that the people that aren't that high in the IQ charts have in the end, in the long run, have an easier time going through life. Because they'll have the outbursts, but they don't know why. It's just that's just how it is. Where the person with the high IQ might remember more. I don't know if that's the case, but it's just I've seen the people that are able to change their behavior more, try to adapt more, try to fit in more, are also a lot harder on themselves. In the long
Very
run.
hard on themselves.
Well, and one of the problems as well is, and
I'll
and
get
I've
back
seen
to
it
your
in
question
quote
a bit,
too, and
Andy.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure you haven't been tested, but the eidetic memory is a problem. I'm tested out at 82% eidetic memory, and all of that stuff stays in there—the good, the bad, and there's no way to
Yeah.
filter. So it's hard for us to deal with people who say, "Oh, well, I never said that." Yes, you did. You did
Yeah.
say that.
It's
Yeah.
it was really one of the relationship killers this last year. Is well, I never said that, and then I have to. Like I still don't know how to deal with that in people. So when I confront them with either a photo or a screenshot or see, you did say that, and that was literal. I take that literal. If you say, well, I shouldn't have done that, that is not the equivalent of I said I'm sorry, and then going, well, I said I'm sorry. It's like, no, you never said that. You have not said I'm sorry, or stupid stuff like that. And just really like same with yeah. Just if someone would have said something and I know they didn't say something, or they say, well, I did tell you we would go and do this and this. Like, no, at no point at any given time did you say that, and that can turn into a fight or a discussion. And yeah, I have not been tested on that, and I'm pretty sure the alcohol and drugs have not helped with that in the past years.
Yeah, my wife and I still deal with that because, it's well, I told you that I was going to go do X, and I said, no, you did not. And, it's the same thing. It's still, and we've been married for 22 years. So it's just an ongoing kind of, she has learned that in her mind, I think I know more than she does. You know what I mean? Instead of he does remember things, because she'll admit, oh yeah, you remember things better than I do. But when it comes to her sticking to her guns, she'll go, well, usually you remember things better than I do.
Mm-hmm. So Yeah, I think there's I still have to find out what that is, because the girlfriend would say, well, I told you this, or the wife would say, I told you this, and you go, nope. But they are 100% sure some of the time that they did say that. Like, how the fuck do you get out of that? You just go, oh well, I'm sure you thought you said that, and I'm sure you, like, I guess
Well,
it also depends on how close.
At some point, you just go, well, you know, you don't say it. Now, I made this mistake a lot of times. You don't say it. You just think to yourself, well, you obviously do not remember things the exact same way that I do. I have decided that memory is completely subjective at some point, right? I mean, it's not. It isn't subjective because there is a fact and there's an opinion. But I have gotten to the point where I just look at memory of conversations as if they are subjective and opinion instead of factual. And in my head, I know what the fact is, and I just let them go on with their incorrect belief in the system, I guess.
Yeah, that's something I'm still working on. That's something because
That's difficult.
It's very difficult for me as well. Still, it's and in the chat as well, and in games as well, people will. I guess that's where we're getting back to the question that Annie asked. Like, if with when I was playing games, Counter-Strike, 5v5, and I can roll back the entire round of a Counter-Strike, like the entire game and the game plan and where everyone was, what they were doing, which gun they had, where they were standing, how many bullets they had, how many bullets I shot, which grenades, all that stuff. And then people would start with, well, this and this and this happened, and I thought this and this and this happened. And I'm like, no, that is not what happened. And now, in the day of everyone is recording shit, we can all analyze what happened. But you would get in, I would get into fights with the people that had their discussions, and I'm still having a hard time going, well, I guess that's what they thought was going on. And let's just go with that. Let's just let it go. The letting go part, I guess, is
It's
not
difficult to let go.
Yeah, it's not
You
about
just
being
keep thinking
right.
about everything.
Yeah. But when you have 4 people with autism in the same team, and I guess this kind of touches on what happened last week. I was playing with someone that's on the spectrum as well, and I think they have the same coping mechanism as Roasted. He just left. They just leave, and I don't know if they don't look back or they just left. They left the Discord because it got to a point with the lead. They walk away. Cat wants food now. Okay, it's a different way of dealing with it, I suppose. Where I'm more of a, I don't know. I want to be right most of the time, which is a really shitty quality. It's not even a quality. It's a character flaw.
That's just one of the traits.
I want to be right all the time. And my mom said it's not about it's not about being right. It's about, how did she say it? Fucking music is throwing me off this early. I didn't do my morning routine. I'm sorry. That's why I'm this foggy today. Do you have a routine, Roasted? Or do you still
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Four people with autism go into a team together. Like with sports and everything, I think it really depends on how they all deal with their being right and wanting to get there right. I can't translate this properly.
I mean, I can jump in on this one slightly. I actually do quite a lot of volunteer work for a group called Harmony Group. in the UK, and what they do is they organise events, day trips, sports events, things like that for children that have got autism, from every range of autism, from complete mutes to the ones that flap and squeal, to the ones that are more normal, to the higher functioning. And basically we get these groups of kids and we'll go and do sports activities like passing the balloons between the legs, and they'll go and play tennis or whatever. And there's that element of, you throw an autistic child, I throw Callum into a room with complete strangers of what society classes normal people, and he finds it very difficult to communicate, very difficult to get on with them, very difficult to understand, or he's just very uncomfortable and very sidetracked and on his own. You throw him into a group full of autistic children that have all got autism, that are all the same, that are not judgmental, and he'll interact and they bond and they get on and they talk and they just get on and do it. And to actually see that from an outside point of view, it's something magical. To see him go into a room with normal people and struggle, and to see him go into a group with people with autism that understand him, it's just an instant bond. It's like it's amazing.
I don't even think it's necessarily understanding. I think it's just accepting and just seeing, well, that's a person, I'm me, I do my things my way, and the directness, it's that directness I think that clicks a lot of the times. Because if you look at it as a development disorder, or just, I see it as a more pure, the pureness of a kid going into the playground and just going, do you want to play with me? Which we all lose later on in life because we got hurt too many times, or we just got how do you say it? There's plenty of reasons why we lose that openness and honesty or directness, and just going into the world and just accepting a room and just having that feeling of, well, this room will accept me, these people will accept me because I'm me, why would you not accept me? And this in normal, I always have like birthday parties and stuff. The conversations these people have are so
insignificant.
Insignificant, yeah, and it's just not. What do you say? Yeah, not
intellectual
it's
enough.
not. Well, not even that. It's not even. It's not insignificant. It's just. It's bare. Not even fake. I think it's
It goes
scraping
nowhere,
the
it has
surface.
No content.
Yeah, there's no actual content. It's not deep enough. It's not actually like, okay, so how are you doing? Yeah, good. Yeah, work. And you talk about the work thing and the family thing and how are things going at work? Well, they're okay. Okay, so anything special? Conversation's not worth having. Yes, and then I'd rather just go do something else, because then it's just wasting time. Everyone is scared of each other. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, Gloomy. Welcome, by the way.
That's with me as well. I hate small talk. If I've got something important to say, I'll say it.
Yeah, you just go. Yeah, you don't do small talk.
Yeah,
you either shut the fuck up, or you go talk about something that's worth having a conversation about.
Exactly.
So you talk about stuff that matters. You talk about stuff that annoys you, and people find that sometimes whiny, or people are like, if I have one-to-one conversations with my close friends, we both hold up a mirror to each other, and we have an honest conversation about stuff that truly affects our lives, that truly has meaning in our lives, like relationships, work, and not just, well, it's good. No, talking about the problems and stuff that annoys us and stuff that actually affects our day-to-day life, and just wanting to cope with it or deal with it. And I don't care about what the fuck happened in France and talk about that kind of stuff, or talk about the other people. There's so many people during birthday parties that talk about what happened to other people instead of what is going on in their lives.
Yeah.
Like, did you hear what happened to Timmy two blocks away? No, and I really don't care.
Yeah.
No, I truly do not give a fuck. I have no fucking clue who you're talking about. 1. And 2, why do you even bring him up? Do you care? Are you close friends? No. You just wanna... You just
want
wanna...
to say something.
Or you just want to talk about someone else that makes you feel better about your life because something miserable or horrible happened about... What's it... Just... And that happens in the workplace a lot as well. During the breaks, during the coffee breaks, during whatnot, people will start having like small talk about the weather. Like, yeah, it's cold. Shut the fuck up. It's cold. Please shut the fuck up. Everyone knows it's cold. It's winter. Duh. How was your vacation? Yeah, it was good. Did you do anything? Yeah. 3 minutes into that, I was like, why? Why are we having this conversation? It's cold, January. What's up, Saboteur? Welcome, man. Hope you're having a good day. That's another thing. People ask you, how are you doing? And then don't actually want to know, how are you doing? How are you doing? Yeah, I'm not doing that great today. I'm having a shitty day. That's the end of the conversation because they don't really want to know.
Yeah, they won't stop and talk about it.
They don't want to go, oh, what happened? No, they just go, hey, how you doing? And that's one of the things that I always had trouble with Americans because that's their standard thing. Hey, how you doing? And then it's like, hi.
Yeah, but in America, how are you is just a way of saying hello.
Yeah, which is the weirdest fucking thing.
Yeah.
Because it's just, aren't you supposed to use the words that make sense? And like that's how we approach it. So let's go back to talking about weather. How you doing? Tired of work? I always ask people how they're doing to watch them trying to remember how in the fuck they're doing. If you get back to it, it's like, because they'll answer, I'm doing good. Okay. How's that divorce going? No, but in seriousness, like, when they try to avoid it and they're close friends of mine, if they're friends of mine and because I do care, I'll keep going back to the question because I do wanna know. I'm not asking that question because I want to have small talk. I want to know how you're really doing because I can see how someone is doing. If they're not doing well, I'll ask them and I'll keep asking them till we kind of get to the point. Unless people are really avoiding it and I know, okay, well, there's subtle differences in that. It's not always like you have to hammer on the question to get an honest response. But I think we would all be better off if everyone just really talks about and takes the time to talk about the social aspects and the actual stuff that annoys them. And especially in the workplace, if your boss asks you how you're doing, and like Saboteur says, well, tired of work, I think your boss should plan in a conversation at some point where you guys can talk about, okay, well, how can we make that better? How can we make it so you don't get tired of work, or what would fit you more? And I had a boss like that would find the best suitable job for the person they have working for them. If something doesn't click, it's not good for the company, it's not good for the person, it's not good for the individual, it's not good for the group, it's not good for anyone. And that was when I was working with all the people with well, what do you say it? I don't want to say disabilities, but that's how people say it. The non-neurotypicals. The non-neurotypicals, I guess. The non-normal people.
Define normal. There is no such thing as normal.
No, there is, according to
Ever
the
seen a
DSM.
normal person? That's crazy.
Now that's one of the things. Like, if I'm talking about the stuff that someone else does wrong, that sometimes can come off, like with the games, for example. Yesterday with Annie, when I'm saying like, oh, you fucked this up, you fucked this up, you fucked this up, and not in that directness, but this, and this, you could have done better. I've already have a shit ton of issues that I did wrong. I can talk about all the things I've done wrong as well. It's not like I am perfect and you guys are fucking up. No, I did this and this could have been better and this. But that's an internal list that goes on, and there's the external thing. Same thing in the kitchen. We have to make 12 plates for one table. It has to be done at the same time, but someone threw in the chicken too early, so the chicken is done too early. But I forgot to slice the tomatoes, just for example. I don't fucking know. If you want to serve 12, hello Mats. If you want to serve 12 plates at the same time, you have to work together, and everyone has to know what their part is and what they are supposed to do. And I think that's why I like Sea of Thieves so much, because it kind of fits that theme. It kind of fits, like, we all have to micromanage our own stuff while still adapting to everything else that's happening and knowing what to prioritize at what time. I guess that's why I like it so much. But at the same time, you need to have a crew, teammates that deal with it kind of the same way. Annie said it when I was playing with Blue and Annie the best. Like, there's no certain part or role that you have. You have to be able to do everything, but you have to be able to be that cogwheel, I guess you call it, and replace a certain wheel at a certain time because someone dies or falls off the boat, and knowing what to do at what time. How the fuck did we get here?
It's very, very difficult because normal people, I hate using the word normal. Normal people struggle to keep up with the thought process of somebody that has autism. You process things and run so much quicker than we do. Your minds are so fast and so accurate. And we're not quite as quick, and sometimes we're 2 steps behind you. You're 3 steps ahead. It's very difficult from our point of view as well, because you're so, like you say, you're so micromanaged. You've got it down to a fine art. You're so accurate, so we kind of lag behind a little bit.
Well, I think that's a thing that I have come to call predictive scenario complex, because we have studied things for so long that we have a really good idea, like a 98% idea of exactly what is going to happen at any given moment in any given situation ahead of time. So we are prepared to react with that, which is both a good thing and a really bad thing. It's good if you need to react in an emergency. It's bad when you can't shut it off and it's the middle of the night and your mind is going over all of the things that can possibly happen in the next 30 seconds in like an infinite universe kind of style where you see everything.
Well,
and since we see in pictures, it's like a movie. It's like a horror movie that just doesn't shut off.
Yeah.
And it can be bad as well, because if you keep focusing on a thought process which you think is gonna happen but isn't gonna happen, it's gonna fuck you up.
Right, and it can become it can be what do they call it? Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Prophecy.
Yeah.
What's your opinion about the Nobel? It's okay.
I think that a lot of areas in the spectrum are both to all of us are
hunt was good
and a nightmare, because they have their good sides and their bad sides, just like the memory, right?
Everything is a double-edged sword. That's how I always like it. It definitely has its qualities, and it's also it can be felt very self-destructive, or not self-destructive, but
well, yeah, like the memory, right? I mean, the eidetic memory. It helped me to sail through my degrees, through school, through all that stuff, no problem, because you take the book home, you memorize it, you pass the class with a high grade. But then when you're dealing with other people and you have this insane memory of things, they just don't know how to deal with it, and it just becomes a nightmare.
It's like Quo says, obviously, when he plays Hunt Showdown and things like that, he can hear a pin drop. You know, he can hear somebody walk behind him. He can tell exactly where they are. Whereas normal people can't do that, but at the same time, it's a curse, because when he's out in a public place, or when people are out in a public place and there's so much going on, it becomes confusing. So yeah, it's got its blessings, but it's got its curses. It's always a flip side.
Yeah, exactly.
Sound is a really big deal for people with autism, like you said, and
yeah, it's very like, that's why I got the 600 headphones now because I just don't want to hear all the sound, all the other stuff. It's not even confusing anymore because I can filter all the input, like all the input, and I have to filter what's important and what I don't have to react to or respond to or don't be aware of. But I'll always be 100% aware of everything going around. Cars, people moving.
Right, but you're not just 100%. You're not just 100% aware of those things. Your brain is processing the vector that those cars are moving at, how fast they're moving. Is that guy going to turn in front of that other guy? What is that person doing over there? It looks like they're reaching in their pocket. What is that person saying?
And how to deal with it if something goes wrong.
Exactly.
How to deal with everything. How do I deal with that if that does that? How do I deal with that if that goes a little bit different? How do I? So autistic people should be hitmans. We're gonna play Hitman 2 in a little bit. Good call, Leggy. Let's go do that later on. The dream job. Have a good stream, Bob. Thank you so much.
Actually, I have told my wife on more than one occasion that the only difference between persons like myself and a serial killer is self-control.
Go check him out, yes.
Brilliant.
No, but I during when I was 18 to 20, I was like, I would be either I could be a gigolo or a hitman. I would do that, and that's probably one of the reasons why I didn't make it into the military, because they saw these things.
Actually, you'd be surprised, Quo, because some of us did, and they used those qualities to a very good extent.
Thomas, hello. Yeah, because also the lack of empathy is like, okay, well, that's a bad guy. I'm hired to kill him. I'm getting paid. Done.
Exactly.
Done. But Annie asked a question, which I keep. Don't worry, your questions are not being ignored. I'm just trying to fit them into the entire conversation better. Like, how does it fit into relationship? Always considering yourself right. I don't think I'm always right. I think it's what Vor mentioned earlier. You also have to keep in mind that all memory and everything is subjective, even though we have our own reality. And it's just how you make all those realities, or both of those realities, work. I think my relationship with Chris and Faye, my wife and daughter, like that, having the third party come into that relationship was just too much. Having to deal with a crying kid when I'm so sensitive to sound, having to deal with all of that while having to consider how Chris feels and everything, that just became too much. Too many balls to juggle, or how do you say it? Yeah, just having to deal with work, the kid, and the in the long run, it just became too much.
Yeah, honestly, it doesn't, Annie. It doesn't fit into a relationship. That's the problem. We all have a superiority complex, right? And I don't know. We do. We have a superiority complex to an extent. I'm not going to speak for everybody else, but I know that the people that I have dealt with that are on the same tier that I am, we have a superiority complex. And it's because of our eidetic memory that makes we feel more intelligent than others, because we always try to tell the truth. We try to never lie. We always tell the truth. And it doesn't fit in with relationships. You have to have somebody who totally understands that you will just say exactly what you feel is the truth in the moment, period. And they're not easy to find.
No. But so that's in relationship where someone else will go, well, you make me feel, because that would happen with my previous relationship. She would go, you make me feel small when you say these things, and you make me feel like, and you make me doubt myself, and you make me like, yeah, but you also make me doubt myself and my memory, and then I have to go back to that memory, but I also have the facts, and if the facts back me up, like, you did not say that, or you did say that. Because they will go, I never said that. I'm like, here's a picture of you saying that. How am I making you doubt yourself? How am I making you doubt yourself by using facts? That is still, to this day, one of the most annoying things about last year. Just that, well, I have it black and white that you said this, and you go, I didn't say this, and yet I'm the bad guy in this, for confronting you with what you said. How am I bad?
And never think for a moment that we are always right, because when someone confronts us and says, look, no, you said this, we go, oh, you're
fuck.
right, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah,
I did
fuck.
say that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah,
we don't feel lesser for it. We don't feel like they're putting us down or trying to make us feel small. We feel that they are correcting us, and that's the way we feel we are doing it to someone else. We're just correcting you. We're not trying to make you feel bad.
Yeah, I felt that, Annie, and I do. I feel bad about that, and that's because I pushed my limits, and then it just turns into. I made plenty of mistakes, and I guess a way to deal with it, if you play with me, is like what could you have done better, Paul or Quo? What could you have been doing better? I feel, yeah, but you can always say, well, you shouldn't have done that, and I'll probably agree with you. Wow, gloomy.
Damn.
Harsh.
Yeah,
but
it's a bit.
No, but I first of all, Annie, you know that I wouldn't play with you if I thought you were useless piece of crap. Because I'll tell you. If you're a useless piece of crap. Like Lumi is.
Well, we do that, though. We would just go, no, I don't want to play with you because you're a useless piece of crap.
I am still more political. Like, I try to avoid that directness. Because I've had it in the past. Where it's just
I don't avoid it.
Where like
I think it's a good thing.
You're too bad. Like I would tell Fig, like, no, because you just shit at the game. You just shit.
You did that with me and Hunt.
Because you're shit.
Yep. And openly admit it.
And and viewers, if you watch like I click with David West, obviously that clicked. He knew the game. I knew the game. That was a match made in heaven for Hunt Showdown. It was good for the stream, and I still, to this day, that's the most annoying thing about this entire racism thing, is that they took away the one person that I enjoyed playing the game with the most. Took that away because of racism claims. Like, that is to this day the most annoying thing. All the other things is meh. And they ruined it for him as well. With that kind of stupidity.
That's why I don't have Hunt. When I first got over here and you were playing Hunt, I was like, wow, you know,
You're right,
I click with this guy. I enjoy being over here. He understands the same things I understand. Maybe I should check out Hunt. But you know what? I didn't get it. And the reason I didn't get it is because A, I suck at FPS. I am shit at first-person shooters. And B, I'm about half deaf. So I wouldn't hear people coming up on us at any point. And I don't want to make that be that horrible guy on the group.
How you doing? You missed me. I've been here all the time. Hope you're good.
Yeah, that was my issue. I didn't hear somebody walk up behind me. I got popped, and then they obviously had him, and it's like, how?
I heard it.
Right, exactly.
I'm not super hearing. Leave me alone.
That's like, but yeah, Annie, I am truly sorry that I made you feel that way, and then you left like that, because you weren't a useless piece of crap. Everything went well. It just took longer than it should have, but that was my bad. Just because The only thing that was there was I should have asked for confirmation that you were jumping the ship. Because I didn't get confirmation. You did your part and you followed up on that. There was no aye sir or whatever the fuck kind of confirmation you would give. But I jumped off as well, and we both did an oopsie. We learned from it, and then we move on. Like, that's like, just throw back every problem and everything that I've ever done wrong at me. I'll work on it, and that's just because I won't improve otherwise. You should retaliate and accuse Crytek of bullying disabled people, being racist on autistic people. Well, they said, she herself said, I don't know if this is the autism. I'm like, yeah, most of this is autism related.
The answer is always yes, if that's the question.
Yeah. I streamed for 10 hours yesterday. Yeah, and I was with 3 hours of sleep, 30-kilometer bike ride, and a movie, and then 10 hours of streaming. And I only wanted to do 6 hours.
See, that's the funny thing,
good. How the streams going?
These guys, they go, well,
streams are meh.
I didn't realize that you streamed for that long, and for someone like me, I can log into your channel and look at your face and know exactly how your day was and how long you've been online and how the games have been going.
Yeah. And not everyone can do that, and some people can't read the room, can't read chat, and just make certain claims or ask certain questions that would just trigger me. And I try to read how the streamer is doing and then making edgy jokes at that level, or otherwise you just try to avoid certain conversations, topics.
Well, you'll notice that I try my hardest to get the quote chuckles when I think that you're having the worst part of the day, you know?
Yeah, and it helps. Some I don't understand. It's like, well, that came out at a weird moment, but...
Well, some of them are also regional idioms, you know?
Yeah. I'll probably play some Hitman.
Well, every time you see them,
or CC's Mats.
Struggling a little bit, it's like, come on, laugh. Please laugh.
That's the... Yeah, but at the moment the stream the stream is doing badly. The stream is just doing badly, but I had the same thing last year. I was talking to another streamer yesterday with their main game, obviously not doing well. Everyone is kind of like, what the fuck are we gonna play? We can't play Tarkov because it's just so utterly broken, and I don't want to back the company. There's a double thing there. I would love to be able to actually make money on Tarkov again. It's a good market. I just can't play the game.
Atlas stream when?
Oh, fuck that shit.
Hey, Atlas is great.
Yeah, sure.
And banned. No. No, but there are 40,000 people playing it, so they did something right. But I truly think that it's because the society in general is degrading and it's fucking shit. Still need to go. Bye bye. Have a go, Mats. Much love, man. Right now we're doing a just chatting stream, so that's what we're playing right now. Do you sometimes feel like lost in conversations and among people and thinking I have no idea what we're doing here? Stuff. Is that what's happening to you right now, Targalicious? It's the small talk thing in general. Like, I think we touched on that earlier. If you're at a birthday party or anything, and there's just small talk going on, and everyone's just sitting there with their coffee and their cake, and they're like, well, okay. I'd much rather just be by myself and just go for a walk or something. Go for a walk in the woods. I'd rather spend 3 hours in the woods than at a birthday party of someone that I like.
Right, but that birthday party sitting there is the problem. Is for you and I is the input issues as well. It's not that I mean, we can filter the conversations to an extent. It's listening to the people eating that don't close their mouth. It's listening to the people slurping their drinks. It's the people shuffling their feet and kicking that damn table leg.
Mm-hmm.
As for your question as well, Annie, my brother is not married now. He can't hold a relationship because he's violent. So he struggles. He has violent outbursts, and yeah, he can't hold a relationship because of that.
same here. Two long relationships, and then the last one, 1 year, long distance. Doesn't hold up when the other person doesn't want to deal with the outburst. I think it's as simple as that. If you don't want to deal with the outburst, the relationship is not gonna hold up. And if both parties are not gonna sit down and actually work together on mitigating, I guess it is,
Yep.
the amount of outbursts, it's just not gonna work out.
He also gets very possessive as well, and tries to take over too much of their time, and tries to really be involved too much, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, Targalicious. That's what happens a lot during my streams as well. That Targalicious. That's. I'll try to keep pushing talk so no one talks over. But it's the Targalicious. When people ask questions that completely are out of context to the stream, for example, I kind of get annoyed and it's like, okay, why is this conversation happening? Why am I even involved in this talk? I don't want to be in this talk. Why am I trying to respond to a question that in no way interests me at all? Just for the sake of that other person? Especially on Twitch? It's like ignoring someone on the street. You walk past and you see someone mumbling stuff to you on the street and you just continue walking, I guess. And I am trying to learn to do that on stream as well. When someone says something, I'm starting to learn just to ignore the question, which I hate doing, but in the long run will be better for the stream. That's one of the same as birthday parties. People just don't invite me anymore, which hurts. And at the same time, like it's this kind of thing. I don't want to go to the birthday party, but it's still nice to be invited, I guess. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, perfect sense.
Your sister is Asperger. You?
What?
We chat. But she's working now, so I'm asking on her behalf. Your sister has Asperger's. You know, Asperger is how people make fun of it, right? Asking for Asperger friend. That's how people with Asperger's get bullied.
Yes.
An Asperger.
Well,
No,
you've
but
already got the 2 buns.
Oh man.
the stream is struggling at the moment because there's just no games that and if only Hunt. That was my tweet to I think it was yesterday or last night as well. It's like, when the fuck will Hunt run like it did in 2.0 again? When will Hunt run well? Why are you doing all these things to the game? And their answer will be, I already know what their answer will be, and I don't really give a shit. But at the same time, I think that is the main issue that the game has. It doesn't run well. It hardly works. And there's just this diehard following of elitists that love the game to bits for the wrong reasons, and it's them holding back the game as well. Because the same way that I don't feel proud of killing someone with 30 FPS, I don't feel proud of killing someone that is level 6 when I have 1,000+ hours in the game. And it's those people that do feel that pride still that also kill the game. If you feel the need to trash talk other people that aren't that good in the game, and your competition, you're killing your own competition. If you're killing the competition, you don't have a competitive game to play. Hunt runs like shit. It's kind of expected, so I'm not too upset, but that's a fact. But it was so much better when they fixed the HUD issue and the micro, and they added stuff. It just made it work. Isn't
Right,
it
but
like
there's
for
also a difference, Quo, between you and those people. You're playing the game to play a game. Their life value is based on them being better than someone else in
Yeah,
the video game.
yeah, and yeah, for a lot of people that is still the case. Yeah, how many achievements they have, what their kill death ratio is, that kind of. And I know that's I care about my kill death ratio because other people care about it. That's marketing. That goes into the marketing because other people look up to that shit. I don't give a shit. I don't want to give a shit. I do give a shit, but for different reasons.
Right, because it's your livelihood to give a shit about it.
Yeah. I make money off of it. I can buy food because of it. Isn't like for autists so tiring to be with people always because you are streaming and can always be triggered by people? Scary, Ella. I don't.
For me, it can be tiring to be around people a lot.
Yeah, that's why I stream. So I don't have to be with people that make a lot of in an office place, and I worked people said, "Oh, go work in a call center." Are you fucking ridiculous? If I can bring my Sennheisers, maybe yes, but are you ridiculous? I've worked in a quiet office and then did customer support on the phone. But if two other people are talking in that same room, I'm not gonna be able to have a decent conversation.
How did you manage it, dude? I did technical support when I was putting myself through school, and while I loved the technical support atmosphere, I was in my own little cubicle. People left me alone. I after a few years, I found I can absolutely not deal with idiots on the phone.
I quit after a year, and I go do something else. But I lose interest after a couple of months of doing something. I lose interest. I can't hold a job and do the same thing for the next period of time because I just lose interest. I'm like,
That's a
okay,
big problem for me as well.
I've done
Yeah.
this now. I've done this. I've learned from it. I now want to learn something else. I want to do something else. I want to.
Exactly.
Because we're easily bored.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do that, Thomas. I don't. That's one of everyone, because I don't have a degree in anything, and I'm kind of an idiot, and it's just having to deal with all the social stuff at a job and having to deal with the I can do my job. I'll go work in the kitchen, run the kitchen with all these people, do the things we need to do, have the meal served and everything. I worked in food service industry, with loud music, hundreds of people in the restaurant, four-star hotel, dealt with that shit. But if there was nothing to do, I want to go home. Because I do not want to talk to people. I don't want to have those conversations with my colleagues about how the TV shows that they watched are going. How Batman is evolving in the X amount of series or seasons.
Oh man, I couldn't. See,
I didn't
you
get.
You have a different level there because I don't even leave my house anymore, except for I drive to do some taxi work to move people around in the afternoon. That's it. I cannot. If there's more than 2 or 3 people in an area, I start getting twitchy.
How's Scary doing?
I cannot deal with people. My personal space is about 100 times bigger than other people's personal space.
This is what happened when I was diagnosed. That everyone said, "Well, you're autistic. You can't do this, and this." So I learned to do this, and this, to an extent where it was unhealthy for me, and I had to unlearn a lot of the things and just had to accept that I can't do those things. There was a part of denial, a long time of denial, and just said, well, I'm gonna learn all these things because I don't want this to be a disadvantage to me and my life. And then there was a big part of acceptance of 7 years, and that's where the alternative medicine study came in, and psychology study. It's like, okay, well, this is just me. Other people will have to start dealing with it. But that's where the loved ones, I keep people far away that I'm like, okay, well, accept me for who I am, or fuck off. But if you come closer to that, there needs to be a I don't know how to say it. Then it becomes work, I guess, and we both have to work on it. What do you talk about during relationships then? Surely knowing your girlfriend's favorite movie or song or color of food during general chit chat is part of bonding process. Yes, but that's because I love that person. That's what okay, so that's what I'm touching on, Annie. That's what I then talk, because I want to know the person. That person I want to know better. But the person at my job, I don't give a shit about.
If you want with someone, we want to invest in that person.
Yeah. And if I dealt with a lack of chit chat during this last relationship where I didn't really get to know the person that I was with. Can you even do a long trip with people, 24 hours with them? Why would I?
Exactly.
It's very
But I
difficult
think.
Oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
It's very difficult as well, because obviously if people withheld information from you or don't tell you 100% or don't want you to dig, that also hits a nail, because you want to know the person.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and we always get told that we're sharing too much, that we shouldn't be telling people the things that we tell people about ourselves. But we also hold on to those things. If we invest, if we think that you are valuable enough for us to actually invest our giving a shit about you, which is what I call it, the giving a shit about you, because we don't give a shit about most people, period. We don't care what you think, what you do, whatever. I mean, we may act like we do, but we don't. If we take the time to invest in that person and then that relationship does not work out, that affects us 1,000 times more than the average person, because we put that as like a nail in the coffin, and it takes us a long ass time to recover from it.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the time we invested in it.
Exactly, because we thought that we found a person who was valuable enough to invest in, and obviously we were incorrect.
Freelancing over Vincenzo worked pretty well for me. Yeah, laggy. So that's and Thomas, because I've worked, because I battled my way through the entire and I didn't want that label put on me, and my family didn't want to put the label, because I'm smart enough to work and make a living, like I've been trying to do this past year, trying to make Twitch work for me, and be self-employed and run my own company with that. I'm struggling, it's not easy, but I'm enjoying it a lot more than dealing with a normal company and having to deal with all those social issues. And I don't get state support. The government doesn't pay, but because a lot of people in the Netherlands get like 900 a month because they have the diagnosis of autism and they technically can't work. That's being revised. They're changing that slowly, but yeah. Can you bear like a girlfriend while living in the same house, unlike other people, which are completely annoying? My wife is completely annoying. What? It's
well, look, we used to game. My wife and I used to play games together. We used to play Asheron's Call, a bunch of different games, MMOs together. And we would be in the same room, in the same computer room. And at some point, it became very obvious that we still wanted to play the games together because we enjoyed playing them, but we could not be in the same room together because I was yelling and going, "What the fuck are you thinking? You know, go do this, go do that."
I had that with Vicky as well, yeah.
Yeah, so once we got into separate rooms and we were just dealing with the game through the game, we were fine.
Yeah, I've had that with Callum as well. He used to have his computer in the same room as me, and I had to move him because it's very difficult. Very, very difficult.
Yep.
I realized my relationship, I just want a buddy. I just want someone that fights the same fight with me along my side. And that's in the long run the relationship. And I had that. And the outburst and alcoholism kind of ruined that. Because that's how I dealt with a lot of the input and sensory issues. It's just drinking or self-medicating. I didn't get if autists are paid for from social support. Why aren't you? I just told you because I showed that I can work. I do not get the same label from the government. They said, well, you've worked full time. You've worked for multiple years. I kept changing jobs, and it made me suicidal and depressed doing those jobs. And trust me, I sat there and I had very difficult conversations with them. And like, well, no, but you showed that you can work, and you'll just have to deal with it because you don't fit any of the boxes that we have set up.
Right.
You don't
being
fit.
a high-functioning autist does not make you disabled by today's standards.
Correct. Yeah. And that's also what the therapist said when I was diagnosed. Is in the long run, like when you get older, that's when the real problems will start happening. Like that's where, because people will come in and like, you're not autistic, you don't look autistic, or you don't have those intellectual problems, and you're smart enough to learn, you're smart enough to work, go do something. Like, yeah, I can do the job, I can probably do it 3 times faster than the rest of the people, and I don't want to be spending hours and hours on end doing that thing.
But Quo, you know as well as I do that even if they did recognize that as a disability, you and I would not take that money.
Correct. Yeah. I don't want to live on... Like, I love Twitch. I loved Twitch. Last year has been the best year of my life because people support me and my thing, and I earn money doing the thing I like, and I get acknowledged for doing that thing that I like. Instead of earning money through a job where you just get paid a certain amount because it's in the contract, or you get money from the government because you have a disability. Like those options are shitty compared to having people actually support the content that you put out there. And even if I make less than I would make, because when I stream these 10-hour streams, I streamed 10 hours yesterday, and you get I think it's $30. I still rather do that, and I guess it's stupid because it's playing video games, and I try to entertain, and it's not just simply playing video games, and it's very different. It's difficult to explain what I'm doing differently apart from like streaming or just playing video games. I guess it's very different. I think the people that have played with me off stream kind of know what is different about the two. It's just better.
Yeah, you're a very different person off stream. Very different person off stream.
Well, and I think a good example of what the people are asking about the support is, as an example for why we wouldn't do that. I'm registered on the rolls of the Apache Nation in Arizona. So legally, I'm entitled to a stipend from the federal government. I have never accepted that stipend from the federal government because they can kiss my ass. It's the same thing if we were getting some kind of disability. Those people can kiss my ass. I don't need that kind of charity from them.
Pity kind of thing.
Exactly. It's, oh, we're sorry because you have an issue or because we did something to you. Here's some free money to make you feel better. Fuck you, that money doesn't make me feel better.
I am. It's also a double-edged sword for me. I would feel bad taking the money because it's the same with. I would feel bad taking the money, where other people with autism will be like, well, I am 100% disqualified to work. I get money. Why should I learn anything? And I've been raised very differently. And
see, over here in the UK, Callum, obviously, he gets
I'll get
a
to
small
your
amount of
question in a bit.
allowance. Only a very small amount, but he gets it. But Callum costs us an awful lot of money in breakages, breaking doors, breaking this, breaking sinks. I mean, I've had 5 bathtubs in the last 3 years. So we actually take that. It's only a small amount. I think it's only something like £112 a month. But anything that is left over that's not been covered for breakages and things goes into a bank account, and that's saving for his future. So he's got that for when he's left school, when he reaches 18. And then
yeah,
obviously, if he decides to keep his disability going, he can still work and get his small contribution from them. So I mean, that's entirely his choice then. But obviously we only take it because the amount he costs us in breakages, we use that have been chucked across the floor, switches that he's broke, tablets that he's broke of other people's. He does cost a fortune through temper tantrums.
I cost a fortune through therapy, and there was some very shitty therapy back like when I was diagnosed as well. I think it was 170. Well, now it's euros, but then it was golden, I guess. Yeah, 170 an hour. And it was really bad, like the type of support they gave. But my mom and dad had to pay that out of their own pocket because I got rid of the diagnosis. Even though I was still on the spectrum.
See, over here in the UK, he can access a lot more things.
I don't
like
think so,
help at
Kloppy.
school
No.
and certain things for having the diagnosis and receiving the disability. If he doesn't receive disability living allowance, he can't get things like, if we go to theme parks, he gets a little wristband, so he gets to skip the queue, so he doesn't have to stand in a noisy environment and things like that. So to get access to those things, he has to receive that money to be able to get them, if you know what I mean.
Right, and I don't think that Quo or I would fault you for doing that in any way. The way that we handle things, we don't expect anyone else to handle things the way that we do. We have set, I don't know if Quo's the same way, but I mean, I have a set of rules that I live by, and that's it. That's the way I was raised. That's the things that I, over time, have built up to say, okay, these are right, and everything else is wrong. So...
And yeah, so the same with the Tarkov thing. I will not be playing Tarkov for a X amount of time right now, because I am staying true to what I believe in is the right thing. So I won't do that. I don't fault other people for not doing the same thing. I find it weird. I find it strange. But you're using a system that is there to use. I just simply don't fit in any of the boxes. I would still like help, but can you make a box for me then? You know, like I tried to work my ass off to make a living, and I still do, but I'm struggling, and I was suicidal at the time. I went there with my ex-wife. I went to the therapist with my ex-wife. She was well, this is causing issues. The fact that he needs to work X amount of time and do things while not being able to find a suitable workplace, and no one is able to help with finding a suitable workplace. That is fucking it up, and you guys have an X amount of boxes that people can fit in, and he doesn't fit any of those. What do we do? It's the same with the bankruptcy thing. My company just left, right? The company just, over the weekend, closed doors. Everything was moved into a moving truck, like into a big ass container. And they just moved, and they didn't pay us, and the government at that point can't pay you because there's no bankruptcy, and you're still employed. So how do you deal with that? Well, you have to go to a lawyer, and you have to make them declare bankruptcy, and 3 employees have to go do that, or the people that the company owes money to needs to do that. And they didn't do that, so we had to do it. And we were earning 10 euros an hour, and the lawyer cost 174 euros an hour. And then when you have like, okay, so we're doing this for 1 month. We didn't get paid for that 1 month. How is this viable? And they almost got away with it, but luckily 2 of us were like, well, we don't want him. We don't want our boss to get away with this. So we're gonna pay this. We're gonna do this. Because this is not the right thing to do. And it's those boxes, and it's the same with the government, and they're working on it, but it's a very slow and shitty company, and everyone in the country pretty much confirmed or says, like, what Roast, the UWV, right?
Sorry, what now?
The UWV.
Yeah.
Do you receive money from them because you have the diagnosis? Because you was diagnosed early on.
Yeah, no, I
so you get
it
Wayo.
How I do, but what do you call it? City council or something?
Okay, so the what do you call it?
Gemeente.
Yeah, gemeente. Yeah. The yeah, I'm blanking out that. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either. I think it's the city council.
Yeah, sort of. Aramain, hello. And Kloppy asked the question, do you personally believe that there's a root cause to autism? I don't see autism as a bad thing personally. I see the lack of intelligence and empathy to like. I think personally that it is a next step in evolution of human consciousness, but there's flaws in that evolution, and the strongest will survive in that genetic gene pool, or in that gene pool, the survival of the fittest in the long run, throughout thousands of years. And just like you have stupid people, you can have people with autism that are stupid, and you can have intelligent people with autism, and you can have intelligent people without autism, and you can have like all these different varieties. In the long run, we'll see what. But the fact that there's more and more and more and more and more autism is like, that's how I'm reading it at the moment. That's how I'm reading what's happening. I don't think there's anything that people can do wrong during pregnancy that causes a kid to be autistic. But I do think you can do a couple of things wrong that makes your kid stupid or less conscious. That makes
Well, and
sense.
unfortunately, I think that the suicide rate amongst the more intelligent levels of the spectrum is really high.
Yes,
It is.
yeah, and
Because both of us have had
Depression as well.
our calls with that.
I've got
are
trouble
those
with that
some
as well.
Danish lawyer price tags?
Yeah, I think
Dutch.
all of us have been there
Dutch
at some
Gloomy.
point or another where you just get to the point where it's like, okay, well, obviously I'm
That's
the
true,
problem.
Annie. But I have a kid.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, mine was, and Annie, this will kind of cover what you asked there was, my first marriage. It probably was the worst thing that could have happened to me. I married a foreign national. As soon as we had an 18-month-old baby, she vanished and had, restraining orders and divorce papers and everything else. And I fell into the bottle. I drank until I passed out. And when I woke up, I drank until I passed out. And when I woke up, I drank until I passed out. And at some point, I just got tired of the whole process and figured, well, I'm the problem. So,
Yeah.
it was a suicide complex at that point, you know? So we've been there. We've all been there.
Yeah, same
So,
here. Yeah.
Something else Annie asked, addictive compulsive side to autism. I think people with autism are highly, how'd you call it?
Yes, 100%.
They can get addicted to something very quickly.
Yes.
Multiple things.
Yes, because
Especially if it's
you want
something
that
gives
feeling.
you, yeah, especially if it's something that gives you pleasure. Like, for me, it was
Hobbies.
smoking for 25 years. I smoked for 25 years because it kept my hands busy. It gave me a reason to get away from people. And then when my first daughter was born, I quit. I threw the cigarettes away and I stopped smoking.
Yeah, I would take small amounts of MDMA daily as self-medication, just so I could feel the way I felt the day before, stuff like that. If I have a good day, even without any now I keep telling myself, and it's still a struggle, but I keep telling myself I'm done with that. I don't want that. I don't want that sort of life. And I'm pretty sure I fucked up a large amount of my brain by doing it. And the alcoholism as well. Like it was November. There were like at least 10 bottles of vodka and whiskey, and October as well. And that's no secret, but I'm not proud of it. But it's just that's how it was, and I didn't want that. But it's just, yeah, you drink yourself to sleep so you can fall asleep, and you get to that point of exhaustion, but you become a grumpy, annoying fucker that no one wants to be around.
Yeah, and I think that we are way more easily addicted to anything that gives you some kind of respite from the issues that you're having.
Yeah.
Yeah, Callum's the same with hobbies and things. Hobbies will overtake, and it turns from one thing into another. I mean, to a degree, I do the same, but it's like hobbies. You enjoy something, you collect it. Like Pokemon cards. You've got 3 million Pokemon cards. Got bored of that hobby, leave it, but can't ever part with it because he's still got that physical attachment.
Right, but he doesn't just have 3 million Pokemon cards. He has 3 million Pokemon cards arranged in alphabetical order by, by issue date, by value.
Yep, definitely. I mean, one of his main obsessions at the moment is the Titanic, and he's absolutely obsessed with the Titanic. Everything he wants to know about it, he'll tell you how many people died, when it set sail, where it roughly went. You know, he watches documentaries on it, and he'll just obsess and obsess and obsess. And at the moment, his new one is crime and murder, and he's watching all the crime programs, documentaries on serial killers and this, that, and the other, and he's really, really obsessed, really obsessed.
Yeah, see, and the trick for me early on was to focus. It's not a question of trying to stop the obsession. You can't. You have to focus it. For me, the trick was focusing my obsession into things that were going to be beneficial to me. Martial arts, learning. I have an obsession to learn. I have to learn new things all the time, or else I don't feel like I did anything.
Yeah, that's a very productive way of. I think that's where the gaming thing comes in now. People need achievements, which is kind of different, but it kind of touches on that. Because they want to spend their time on their one hobby while still having the feeling that they're productive. And companies are exploiting that to a certain extent. And it's not necessarily the people with autism, but it's definitely there with the OCD and the autism. It's more, how do you say it? I don't know. The hyper focus. If you can focus on something that is productive, like learning, then yeah.
I don't think there's an answer to that, Targalicious, because we have no concept of non-autism. Would we choose? That's like saying, would you choose not to see things because you saw something horrible in your life? Well, you don't know that because you have no frame of reference.
This is who we are. Would you like to be someone else? It's a fucking stupid. No offense, but it's a weird question in general.
Would I like to give up my eidetic memory? No. Because even with the horrible things that are in my brain that I can never unsee, never unhear, never unlearn, those things have been useful to me. They help me get my degrees. They help me do whatever else I need to do. So no. I mean, we are what we are, and that's all there is.
Thank you so much, Blue. Yeah, I think this question is asked every time I do one of these streams. Would you choose not to be autistic? And even in therapy, the fuckers asked me that, which was the weirdest fucking thing. A therapist asked, because they were not actually therapists, but it was weekend. Yeah, someone would get, if there was a pill that would fix your autism, I was like, fuck off. I'm not to be fixed. It's not something to fix because it has so many awesome qualities in my life. I can pull off things that no one, like the other people, dream of. And you're asking me, do you want to put? No, you're the problem here. You asking that question, that's a problem. Because you have an issue with my directness. You have an issue. And obviously, yes, it hurts me, but it's everything. We suffer through life to make it have meaning and to learn. If we do not struggle, if we do not suffer, and we just want everything to be easy constantly and simple, we do not become better individuals. And we do not grow as a society. If everything would be good, we didn't need laws and stuff. It's just we don't learn. We don't evolve, if that makes sense. It's going too quick and I can't really focus on it. But it's just, no, you can't. It's like someone that is born. I think it's a question about self-acceptance in the end. If you're born blind and deaf, and you ask them, would you like to be born with eyesight and hearing? Some would say yes, and some would say no, because of self-acceptance and how they go through life. I guess that's why they ask it as well. How badly are you doing? How well are you coping with it through life?
Well, It's like in The Matrix when Agent Smith was talking about the Matrix, and he said, the first Matrix was absolutely perfect. Everyone was happy. Nothing was wrong. And it was universally rejected because humans are defined by suffering.
Yeah. One of my stream titles a while back as well. Where is it? Tragedy is the price we pay for existence. This is just a tragedy to an extent.
Right. No one ever learned anything from a victory.
No, it's the things you do wrong that you learn from. Yeah, it's... It's weird with the autism thing in the past couple and the vaccination rate as well. I was watching the news program yesterday and how was it smallpox? No, not smallpox. Is it smallpox? There's a problem in America right now with the measles. Measles is there's a measles epidemic kind of going on again, even though it was extinct in America a couple of years ago because of the. And I shouldn't even be talking about this because Faye isn't vaccinated, but not necessarily because of the anti-vaccination thing. Different reason. Plus, I guess it's because of the autism. I'm like, well, if people die, they die. If I die, I die. If people around me die, they die. I deal with death very differently from the people that I know.
Right, because it's a standard process. There's life, and then there's death, and that's the way things work.
And illness and disease, like everyone, there's so many people that go, oh, cancer is bad. Nope. Cancer is not bad. You're the one. If you have cancer, your entire system, you yourself, created that cancer and let it become what it is today. That's how I see that.
In some way, yes. Either through something you did or through a genetic malfunction. One of the two.
Yes. And both of those you have to accept. You can't just go, well, it's the cancer doing this. And this is obviously a very touchy subject, and people will respond differently to that, and some people have people with cancer. That's the same with that you can't say cancer or AIDS because someone knows someone that died of cancer.
Well, you can't say anything anymore. Everything is offensive.
Cancer is painful. A painless way to die is good. Yes. I'm not saying cancer itself is good, but there's a cancerous process going through everyone's body and system constantly, and you need to... that is how you deal with a lot of... If your own system will destroy the cancer cells, because it's just a... how do you call it? It's a genetic, like the splitting of the cells. If some of those cells are wrong, everyone has the potential. That's because everyone constantly is producing cancer, but also the body is getting rid of that cancer constantly.
Well, it depends on how we're going to define cancer. Okay, cancer. Yeah. You know as well as I do. Cancer scientifically is just uncontrolled cell growth. Period.
Yes, and and this is where the alternative medicine stuff and psychology comes in. Is that I believe that to a certain extent it is that people don't let that part of themselves grow into a it becomes too big, and they how do you say it? This might be the wrong thing to talk about now because it's not about relationships and anything. But it's if that process takes over, where it takes on a life of its own, then it becomes cancer. Right? That's cancer because it's too big. Those cells, cancer cells themselves, are super healthy cells, but they don't help the organism that it is growing in. It's harmful to us as an organism, but the cells themselves are super healthy because they just they do what they are supposed to do. Reproduce and split and... You know what I say? What I'm... Anyhow, how the fuck did we get here?
Because
good
autism is a disease and cancer is a disease and everything all fits together.
I have a better question. Would you eat a burger made of cancer? Like that scientifically made meat they made in the... Would you eat a burger made of cancer?
Well, it's not going to do anything to you.
Right.
No, isn't that what meat is in general, with all the hormonal things and just having like the chickens we eat chicken, everyone eats chicken, and the chicken is what, 5 months old, 6 months old,
yeah,
and we all eat the chicken. Yeah, so I think we're all already eating cancer constantly.
All the tumours and stuff on the meat, they just cut it off in the meat industry and not bothered, are they? They just cut it off and send it out.
So you,
to be fair, I've
you
eaten worse things.
Oh god, yeah. Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, Laggy's just asking, do you go to McDonald's? That's what the question is. Just phrase different. Do you eat? No, but that's the thing. I think it's a process that we I don't know. If I die, I die. If my kid dies, the kid dies. We don't want that. We try to avoid it. But we're all gonna die. Best we can do is make sure it's a painless death, like Joseph kind of touched on. Like the healthy way of dying is like how my granddad, my granddad, my grandma, and my grandpa's brother died due to either their heart simply stopping or their heart simply stopping. They just died painlessly. Just simply boop, don't wake up in the morning. You just died. I think that's a healthy way of going.
God, yeah.
Yeah, one of my associates in California, his mom, she was an older lady, and she was in her kitchen, and one afternoon she fell down and broke her hip, ended up in the hospital. They said, "Do you have any idea that you're completely riddled with cancer?" And then like 3 days later, she died. That was it. You know, no big long build up and chemo and all this crap. Just you have cancer and you're dead.
Yeah, it's how long it takes, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I definitely do not want one of those BS funeral viewing. That stuff is so ridiculous to me. It's not even for, I mean, it's not like it's for the dead person.
Nah, just chuck me in a hole in the ground, job done. Don't mourn, don't visit, just leave me.
I don't get funerals. I don't understand funerals. I like the party, but I don't like the that came out wrong.
You just want people to come and pour one out on your grave.
I just remember the person that you're remembering, and don't go, "Oh, it's so sad that this person died." The person died.
An Irish wake.
Person is dead.
Don't mourn someone died. Celebrate.
Yeah, celebrate life. Celebrate life. Celebrate the fact that that person lived. Celebrate all the good things that you had with this person, and don't go, "It's so sad that this person died."
And with the Asperger's people like us, that's going to be a short celebration. That guy was an asshole. I liked him, but he was an asshole.
But Aramin, like you said, like funerals are for those who appreciated, admired, and loved you. It's not for you. But I think they're doing it wrong. They're not appreciating and admiring that they're all sad. They're not celebrating the fact that they're still alive and you had a part in their life and you made their life better in so many ways. it's always so eh. Do you have certain websites, articles, or books? It's Asperger's. At this point, Targalicious, I don't know if you're just trolling or just generally just are a bit awkward with the spelling. Like,
Well, and we are Asperger's. We don't need websites, articles, or books to tell us anything about Asperger's.
Everybody with Asperger's is very, very different as well. You can't define it as one thing.
I have a lot of books because none of the one book is. There's no perfect book for it. I did read. Vicky still has 2 books on the subject. It's like, oh well, these kinda shed some light on the issue from a 4-year-old non-verbal autistic kid who tries to explain his thought process and stuff like that. It's just all good, Targalicious. I don't like funerals where Christian Catholic pastors have some long ass sermon. We don't have those here. I don't have people. Oh yeah, me neither. How did Sean Pertru get into your voice chat?
Who?
I think we're talking about Blue here, Cogito, or who the fuck is?
Oh dear. I hate my voice.
I think his name is supposed to be a reference to the Latin cogito ergo sum.
Batman for starters. He has to start somewhere. His education has to start somewhere, and it obviously starts at a very early point in his life when he's sort of damaged, and through the guidance of an ex sort of military man, Alfred Pennyworth, myself.
You think this is what he
so his
sounds
training
like?
starts at a much younger age.
Really?
Really?
No way.
No way. No. Not even close.
At a much younger age.
Subscribe to PewDiePie 2. Oh. Hello, 9-year-old. Fellow 9-year-old. I'm already subbed to PewDiePie. Sorry. On 3 accounts. I do my part, okay? I watch his videos. Actually, yeah.
Oh, right, of course you do, because he's the other racist, right?
He's the other racist. Yeah. he's truly Nazi. He's a true Nazi. He's the prime example of what I want to achieve with my Nazi-ism. The world is so fucking stupid. Seriously.
The Dutch, the more friendly Germans.
Oi.
You to take chances.
With a name like that, I've got my finger on the timeout button. Why don't you like PewDiePie, Iron Man? Because I think PewDiePie stays true to himself, made oopsies, and I think he's doing his he's very good at what he does and taking all the hits from all the really stupid people in the world, and he's just rolling with them. And I really appreciate the way Felix does what he does.
Yeah, I'm not a PewDiePie fan, but I admire his business acumen.
Yeah. Even if you don't like his videos, and you don't have to like his videos. I don't like the memes. 90% of the stuff I have no fucking clue, but I do really look up to him and say, no, he's doing this entire internet business. How I hope I can get to that point at some time. Like, he's doing something right.
Right, he's a marketing genius.
He's
It's just
corny
like a
and
lot
a
of people
bigot.
constantly. Sorry.
That's generalizing, Iron Man. But okay, to each their own.
It's like the Kardashians. Everybody hates them, but they turned being nothing into billions.
But Iron Man, he changed since then. He really changed since then. That was poor taste. those random guys with the Jew. But that was also very I don't really. There was a time that I didn't watch him. I didn't like what he was doing anymore, and I revisited him. I think a year or two, like yeah, 1.5. After 2017, I revisited, and I admire his honesty. There's so much fakeness, and I truly believe that Felix deals with it differently. There's so much fake shit on YouTube and Twitch.
Well, I agree with a lot of the things that are said by other people too. I don't think that there should be a limit on comedy. If you're going to be a comedian, you should be a comedian. You should be able to make jokes about anything. It doesn't make a difference. And if people don't want to hear that kind of joke, they shouldn't come and see you.
He doesn't do playthroughs anymore, and he doesn't do edgy jokes. And well, he's still edgy, but differently. And he's rolling with the racism thing and the Christian thing, and a lot of people take away from. We got to that because someone has fucking subscribers PewDiePie as their fucking Twitch account. How does podcast, everybody? Love it. And your account was created 8 days ago.
I'm still waiting for the A Day in the Life of Quo, where you just take the Quo Pro with you and show us how your life is every day.
That would be cool, worth a watch.
That's what you should call it. You should call it the Quo Pro camera.
Just don't get drunk and fall asleep with the camera on.
Someone said that yesterday, so I'll just do a sleeping stream. Do people know that you get banned for that? That's a big oopsie. That's a...
Okay, guys, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and fap now, so I am turning the camera off.
Yeah, I'm gonna masturbate right now. So come check me out on Shadowbait. Which is also, if I wasn't partnered, I could do that. If you're not a partnered streamer, you could do that. Make it into a business model. You'll never get partnered, but at least you have Shadowbait.
Right, that's it. I'm never going partner.
Plus, you can, as a non-partner, you can stream on Mixer, YouTube, Twitch at the same time and make triple the revenue and viewers. Do it!
I thought you couldn't do that under the affiliate program.
Oh, maybe as an affiliate you can't do that either. Yeah, that might be true. You are slaves to Amazon, guys. We all are. Accept it. There's nothing bad about it. Just accept it and roll with it.
Just delay the stream 3 days.
Playing Just Dance, I think I have a heart attack.
Keep it with a 3-day lag.
Okay, tomorrow we'll do a body paint stream. Yes. No, I might if I hope this year. I hope that this year I can get into the mindset where I can do creative streams as well, like painting on stream. I still want to do the cooking streams. I want to get to the point where I feel comfortable enough, because it is stepping out of my comfort zone to do that and showing a part of me. Like the gaming part is just, it's way easier and easier to do than that kind of stuff. Show people where I live and.
Yeah, well, just be careful with that, because people will CSI shit up, and the next thing you know, there'll be some Israeli couple showing up on your door. Hey, we want to come in and get a picture with you.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is it definitely requires more planning and being more careful with it. Because in the past year or the past 16 months, I have seen some videos on the Twitch.
Well, that's exactly what happened to Jacksepticeye. He posted just some basic pictures on like Twitter or something, showing like some snow outside his apartment building. And these people said, "Oh, look, there's a picture of his apartment building, and there's a trash can. What is that trash service?" And they had a basic idea where he lived anyway, so they used that trash service, did a lookup to see where they picked up trash, and they ended up at his door.
Holy shit.
Guess in a way you can't even become top tier streamer? No. I never, why? Okay, why? First of all, why do you think I can't become a top tier streamer, and no, I can't become a top tier streamer. I'm not mainstream. I can never become mainstream.
Yeah, same here, because I don't play Flavor of the Month. In fact, I don't even play Flavor of this decade.
No, you don't. I meant it like the pressure and the social aspect for those on top. There's certain ways to deal with it. Like the trolling, I have a hard time because I don't know if people. I don't know why people would say something in a stream just to annoy someone. But those people exist. I need top-notch mods that are on top of that kind of stuff to make sure it filters out, because I have no idea when someone's trolling or when someone's being genuine or when someone actually has it. Like yesterday, that kid that came in, like, does someone have a free key because my parents are super poor and they don't have money, and seriously, and why does my school suck so much? I don't understand why there's a dipshit that has a conversation like that anywhere. I don't know why he exists, if that's fake. So I take that as being like truthful. Do you speak Russian? No. I have some people that do speak Russian, and I have Google.
That's why I'm glad you made me a VIP and took away the mod, because I'm in the same position you are. I don't know.
Yeah, and I have the, like, it's just, it's good to have a team behind you that has the same limitation, or is a little bit earlier on the thing. They'll pull the trigger a little bit before I get annoyed, because that's just bad for the stream. I need people to pull that trigger before I get to the point where I would ban someone. And it's a difficult thing. I don't know why people are so shitty. That's one of the things that's written in all the books that I've read as well. Like, people with autism don't understand a lot of the things that happen. Why is there war? Why is there so much shit? Why do 1 billion people on this planet don't have a toilet? Why? Because of greed.
Well, because for us there's simple solutions.
Yeah. That as well. Like, I gave 1/10 of my fucking income to Vicky and everything. It's just to have the relationship work. It's just, I don't know. And I don't. And I would do the same with subbing and everything. I would spread that. I don't need that much myself. But then there's people that are sitting on billions of dollars, and like me. I like that you approach viewers with the benefit of the doubt. Meaning, people are pretty simple and war is unavoidable. Well, if that's the case, go do it binary and just kill everyone that's wrong. Oh no, wait. That's what worked. Oh. Let's have a socialist and talk about. No, but that's how it happens. Hello, Dementia. Because people are also silly, it's not binary. I know. Imagine all those things that Dog, Shroud, Ninja, etc. have to go through daily. I mean, they are at point where they have to watch themselves non-stop, etc. Constantly dealing with other people in real life, etc. Well, they also go out more. I mean, Ninja with the entire dance thing and being used for the YouTube, was it YouTube? Yeah, the YouTube thing where they tried to make 1 million people do that silly fucking, what's it called? I don't even care.
Right, but imagine, Quo, people like us, right, that don't deal with people well at all, being at that level, and you can't go outside your house without 50 people standing around going, "Oh my God, it's Quo," and wanting to come and talk to you nonstop. And it's always the idiots that want to come up and talk to you.
I would be able to deal with that.
I wouldn't. I would lose it. I would have to have bodyguards.
I had people. At some point, I would as well. But I had people with when I was in the Netherlands with the pro scene. You would go to a LAN party, and you had all those people stand behind you because they want to see how you're playing. and they wanna see you, and it's kind of the same, I think. Just having people look up to you and just wanting to be there. I don't understand it. I don't have to understand it, but it's just you have to accept it, right? I wouldn't go into a sponsorship deal if I wouldn't believe in the product. So that's a very easy yes or no. Would I take the money? Would I? And I keep coming back to that. That's why Sennheiser would be a good brand. Like, there's just brands that I would say definitely yes, and there's some brands that would say nope, I don't want anything to do with you. Thank you. Like, Maps of Meaning is a cakewalk to follow, and it's hella accurate. Did you read it? Nope. Gillette, everyone. Yes. Boys will be... No, fuck. I don't even... Also, the outrage culture, really not my thing. I don't know how everyone else is with that here. Let's go into relationship in the social thing. Do you guys get as annoyed with like the stuff that's happening lately with Kevin Hart and the Oscars, with Gillette, with people having made racist comments 10 years ago? How do you guys or do we not care?
I don't care.
Huh, okay. We don't care.
Yeah, see, and I'm an old school guy. I mean, at my age, the outrage culture is just ridiculous. It's, to me, it's just like a shitty entertainment show.
Black, white, rainbow coloured. We all bleed the same.
Yeah. Samsung phone sponsorship to get free V-Bucks in Fork Knife. That's a thing? Is that an actual thing?
That's funny because I told somebody the other day was like, what do you do during the day? I was like, oh, I stream. And they go, oh, you play Fortnite?
Oh, God.
Fartnut.
You get 15,000 Fortnite V-Bucks with a Galaxy Note 9.
What?
Fucking
What?
Why?
Oh, man.
This is what businesses have become. It's such a level of stupidity. What was the Kylie? That was the one with the. Let's see that. Okay, let's go in. Do we really want to go into that? It has nothing to do with relationships anymore. It's kind of getting everyone's quiet.
Yeah, we're a good ways off of autism and relationships at this point.
Yeah. Hello, Sanji. Does anyone have any questions about something that's actually related to the title or the subject, and how? If there's no questions, then this was just a nice. Already 2.5 hours. Okay, it was a nice 2.5 hours, but I don't want to take away too much time of these guys either. I don't see the title. What's wrong with you, Gloomy?
Well, I have you scheduled in for another 17 minutes anyway, so.
Fair enough.
And you can have me as long as you want me, mate. Anytime.
Then next time we do this later.
Yeah, but that's
scheduled
because you're
11.
at work, Blue.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I've got from sort of like 10 in the morning till sort of 2 in the afternoon. Or evening.
There is no title on your screen? Okay.
No, for me neither, I see.
I see it right there. AMA, Autism and Relationships.
How can you not have a title on the screen?
It's just no title. Category and the tags and everything are there.
AMA, Autism and Relationships, just chatting. And
They're all high quote.
there's just category and huh. Twitch is fooked.
Yeah, it's been derping out all morning. I see it. Other people don't. It's different per person though, what derp they're getting.
Yeah, chat's still fucked as well, I think, for a lot of people. Some messages won't go through and they feel like they're ignored. But it's just we don't get the messages. How do you meet new people, Core? I mean, when it comes to girls and shit, I imagine it's not easy. It used to be work. I started at 11 the months here, which was actually my normal time. But I want to revisit that. I have to find the correct time to do the morning routine thing and have the when I am best. We're gonna find that this year. At the moment, I'm not. I mean, I had Vix. I didn't need anyone. I didn't need to meet anyone else. That's for me personal. I had Vicky. We were planning on moving like everything. It was good. And now, I don't like the social apps. I don't like there's a. I've tried that in the past. The apps and the websites, but people are there for different reasons, and I don't like the reasons they're there for. Because it's not I want a deep, meaningful relationship, and an actual partner, and nothing too basic, I guess, or simple. I don't like simple.
Yeah, it's the same for me.
So it is difficult, and it's difficult to find someone. But usually I would find people through work, and because of the directness and the honesty, and it just sometimes it would just be want to have sex, and people would go, huh, yeah, and then that evolved, just having good conversations, one-to-one, asking someone out for dinner, doing dinner, doing all the regular stuff. I could do it, but it's not easy. It's really, for me, it's not very different than others. And we have 4 who's married, and then yeah. Games over sex, fight me. Nah. I got my chairs, my chair for the slappy part. Yeah, I spank my chair after every stream. Right, chair? You got this. And any other question? How many close friends have you kept since your younger days, and how many you lost because of autism-related stuff? I lost way more than I kept. But I have 4 close friends. And that's enough, I guess. I mean, you can always have more friends, but close friends. I have a couple of friends that completely have accepted my outburst, gone through them, have dealt with my wanting every day to be the same thing. So we would play on the Xbox or on the PlayStation, we'd play something, and then the next day I would want to do that again. And the other person was like, no, I want to do something else. And having very weird obsessions and stuff go. And those relationships are the ones that we value. In the end, the people will respect and how do you say it? What do I want to say? Friendships come and go, and some will just stick, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, I have a different take on that.
My
answer would be 0 and 0. Well, no, my answer would be 0 and unknown, because no one to date has ever fit in my definition of the term friend. I have a lot of associates, but I have never had a friend, a close friend.
Yeah, that's completely the same for me.
I don't know how many potential friends I've lost because of my autism-related issues. Probably scores of them, because people attempted to be friendly to me. But I don't have any friends. I have many, many associates of varying levels, no friends.
And ever since then, the gods have been laughing a lot.
What do you consider a friend then?
Well, it's different. I mean, everybody has their own definition of the term friend. For me, I was raised old school, right? A friend to me is someone who will stand at your back when there's 11 guys around you're going to beat the shit out of you, and you know you're probably both going to die, but he'll stay there because he's your friend. Or they say, well, he's the buddy that bails you out of jail. No, my friend would be in jail with me.
Yeah, I have friends like that. I've had
See, and I
people
don't. I don't.
attacked
I've never
us.
had anybody.
Me neither.
And so you never had someone that would stick with you, because I've literally had a fight like that where 6 people would be around and someone would back me up.
No, I've never. No, in every case where I assumed I had a friend of that caliber, they did something that proved that was not the case. One person that I've known, my longest-standing relationship is with a gentleman that lives out in Minnesota now, and I've known him for almost 30 years. But I don't consider him a friend because in the past he has done things that proved that he didn't fit that category.
Yeah, and then that relationship is done. To that extent.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because that's how I do it. But if they show at some point there's a crack in that image we have of them, where it's not friendship, then it's done.
Right, and that's an autism thing too, and that can never be redeemed. At that point, that person is at a lower level of consideration for us. Yes, they're still an associate, and we still deal with them, but they are not considered a close friend at that point. That's done.
Yeah. Okay. I have people that just keep. They come back, and then when we can't. There will be months where we don't have any interaction, and then suddenly you just show up again and have that same click again. Like one friend is like two years of no contact, and then it's just that same click again. And trust and openness and directness and being able to talk direct and just openly about anything. That's what I consider a friendship. Just someone that accepts the good and the bad.
Somewhere you can have verbal diarrhea as well, yeah? Just talk and talk and talk.
Yeah.
Somebody that doesn't judge.
And even, I've talked about this in the past. The judging isn't a bad thing. It's ranking it, I guess. Yeah,
because
which is judging.
We judge everybody else, including ourselves.
Yeah, judging isn't a bad thing, and having a judgment on someone or having a opinion on someone, being opinionated, isn't a bad thing. It's how you deal with it that is what makes it good or bad, I guess.
Right, don't use your opinions as facts.
Yeah. Keep people at a safe distance. So I was curious how you guys experienced it. Same with the stream. I'm honest. I'm open. I let too much in, probably, which also hurts a lot. Which causes problems, but it is how I do things. I do not know how to change those things. I am honest and open to a fault, and it leads to discussions, anger, upset, confrontations, fights. Are you a mediator personality type? What do you mean by that, Birdman? And well, in the MBTI model of personality. Let me see. And then 4 can answer. What would you want? What were you saying, buddy?
The thing for me was it took me a long time to learn not to test people. I constantly, the closer a person got to me, the more I pushed to see if they were going to leave. And it was a horrible cycle where the closer the person got to me, the more I tried to push them away to see if they would leave. As a test.
Yeah, I recognize that 100%. Sorry, Bert.
And that's a hard cycle to break.
This is one of the things that I don't like about boxing people into, but at the same time, I know it works.
Right, a stereotype is a stereotype for a reason.
Yeah. I did the same, especially during my earlier years while being depressed. I would test the shit out of them, and I lost a lot of friends because I tested them. See how much I can throw at them, and they keep coming back. To see how strong that bond is. Which is a shitty way of doing it.
But it's the way we do it, or it's the way you start doing it, because that's the only way you can gauge a person's value, to you.
The fact that something is being used for 60 years doesn't really make it more valuable or not whatnot. It's just people use boxes and those boxes. I don't think that's an accurate test of friendship. No, I don't. It hurts the relationship more than it benefits it. People still are very racist. It's not a good reason to use something, but
yeah, I agree. I don't think it's an accurate test, but it's the way your brain works.
Yeah. Almost to help. Yeah, I think so. I think Birdman. I would categorize myself as a mediator. I want to fix stuff. I want to fix problems. I want to fix. I've done the same during when I worked as a what do you call it? Location manager. I would fix the problems that because in the end, if you don't fix the problems that your colleagues have in the workplace, you're just gonna have a shittier company or shittier workplace for everybody.
I probably fit into that category as well, because I mean, even just recently, I did my level best. Probably not the best to bring it up, but you know how we are. With you personally and Vic.
Yeah. Yep. I take conflict, like people that have conflicts in my stream, I'll take to heart as well, and it will. I'll remember it, and it will. I think sometimes the discussions that some people can have in my stream chat linger longer in my mind than between the two people that had it. Maintaining a close friend or life partner. Yeah. I hate conflict. Hate it. Because I also see how conflict can be resolved and how people can fix it and go around it, and like what causes some of the conflict. I had these women in the workplace. They were so fucking pissed at each other. They wouldn't work with each other, and the other person would go like, "Okay, I'm gonna plan her out of the shifts. I will never work with her again," and stuff. But I can see the root cause of it, and instead of trying to look at the root cause and getting those people at the table together and have them talk it out and then hug it out at the end of that session. Like you have a 2-hour meeting and then they hug it out in the end and everyone's happy and it's good. But yeah, I don't know. There's balance needed. Yeah, but isn't that with everything, Birdman? You need balance with everything. And the more we fuck up, the more we learn. Anyhow, was there Annie's question we answered? Sanji said it. More than me, really don't like making friends with the people I work with because most of them are just too casual, all pretend they listen to have the same hip-hop stuff and they're all superficial. But then those those friends you don't need as friends, but you know what you want. You have to look at if what you want is realistic. If it's a realistic need or expectation of people, that's something you have to work on, and then you have different expectations, or try harder to find those people that meet those expectations. That's why there's a yin yang. I have this painting here on the wall, which you can't see because it's a green screen, but everything is in balance. And anyhow, that's too much to touch on. Trial and error guidance, and guidance only works if they actually want to work on something.
Well, and guidance also only works if the person being guided doesn't consider the person attempting to guide them as less intelligent.
Yeah, if they put themselves on the...
I mean, a lot of people tried guiding me through my life, and I looked at them and said, why would I listen to anything you say? You obviously are not as smart as I am.
Yeah, I have had therapists where like, are you for real? Are you this level of stupid? Why would I listen to your advice? It just doesn't work.
Exactly.
Yeah. Does anyone want to? We think this is good for now, and I hope more people join it. I don't know what to bring up right now.
Well, doesn't anyone have more questions or something?
There's not many questions going on. It's just that now we're going on a completely different subject.
Yep, now we're on a fishing trip.
So,
I have no interest in self improvement.
I don't think many people do.
I do, but so I think I'll just say thank you, guys, and hopefully we can do this soon. I want to plan it way more ahead. I keep saying that, but at the same time, I don't know if people are actually interested in this. Danke. Yes. Dank. No. Just got here. Can I get a quick summary? Just deal with us. No, watch the VOD. I'll upload it to YouTube. Yeah, give me the TLDR of 3 hours of talking about autism and relationships and the questions I've been asked. That's a strange thing to say. I figured quotes strive for perfection or self-improvement was a standard autism thing. No.
Not really. Striving for perfection can come with high intelligence, but that's not really an autistic trait.
Right, and some of us believe that we can't improve.
Yeah, I had a lot of those when I tried to get them out of that. Well, I am autistic, and therefore I don't have to learn mindset, but it was just impossible. They just go, I have no reason to. There's no reason for me to change. I accept myself for who I am and what I am capable of. I do not want to learn, and you just have to accept that. Done.
Actually, I was going with the I'm already at the top of the heap anyway, so screw you guys.
You also have those, yeah. Do you use prescriptions for autism? No.
No, they
like
tried
drugs.
that with my son. They wanted to put him on some stuff, and the first thing that I did, the thing that with people like us with autism, I'm sure the quote does the same thing. As soon as somebody talks about they want to use medication, the first thing you do is go out and research that down to the last atomic molecule, the last atom of the thing, and find out what it does. And I found out that it was a neurobinder they were trying to give my kid, and that he would have to have, he couldn't just stop taking it or he would die. And I was immediately like, no, that's not going to happen.
there were
I'd
so
like
many
to
side
elaborate on
effects.
that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got my diagnosis when I was about 4 or 5 years old, and it was a misdiagnosis at first. They gave me ADHD and therefore ADHD medicine. That completely backfired. They didn't know what to do and tried to re-diagnose me. Luckily, they did the right diagnosis then, and still tried loads of different types of medication, but it just didn't work for me. I became a complete zombie. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat nothing. I was just literally a zombie.
Yeah, I've had the same experience when they gave me medication, and I would just become. I would still have tantrums, but it would be very numbed down, like very seriously and very openly. Instead of having a wild, aggressive, shouting thing, I would just look at my mom or dad and just, I hope you die. I honestly hope you die. And that does not make anything better. That was just it. In general, medication deals with the symptoms instead of actually the problem, and the autism itself isn't the problem, so you can't really medicate autism. There's people that want to take medication because they have certain... I did the same thing with the sleeping, and you take sleeping meds, I would take medication that would make me completely calm and numb, so I didn't have the violent outburst throughout the divorce. But yeah, and the side effects are just there's way more side effects that negatively impact your life than there's good things to them.
Yeah, and the same with Roasted Rat. My son was misdiagnosed as ODD for the longest time, and they wanted to medicate him and all this other stuff. And it wasn't until I researched it and said, that's not right. He's got Asperger's. And we went and found people that weren't ODD specialists who gave him a correct diagnosis, and myself.
So for me, it's I do have ODD with my, well, it's not really autism, it's PDD-NOS. I don't know if you have that in English as well.
Yes.
PDD-NOS, which is also no longer, it's just Asperger. It's just autism.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
on the spectrum now, yeah.
Yeah, now I am, yeah. but
DSM-4 was PDD-NOS, which I also was diagnosed with, which we later changed to Asperger's.
I also have ODD and CD.
Oh yeah. That's where all the labels come in, boys and girls. Do we need all the labels, or should we just? Because those labels do not mean that anyone else knows how to treat you because you have those labels. It's just a weird way of how people deal with anything, I guess, or talk
With our
about
need
it.
to quantify things.
Yeah. I learned that antibiotics taken at a very young age as a baby can affect the chances of autism.
What?
What? I have very big question marks with what you learned and where you learned that from.
You can't get autism. You have it or you don't.
Not like, yeah.
It's not a virus. It's...
Yeah, it's this was one of the problems as well, that people said Paul has autism, which is a disease. I'm like, no, fuck off. You're uneducated dumb fuck. No, I do not have a disease. Period.
Right.
You are
Antibiotics cannot affect your neuron binding process. I'm sorry, it can't. Your neurological pathways are set. Yes, they grow in time, but there is a set basic pattern.
Over here, there was a big controversy over the MMR vaccine, because obviously it was a combined vaccine. There was a big controversy over that, and it can cause autism, so don't give your kids it. You know, it's daft.
Yeah.
That's just... That's
There's studies, check it up. There's studies on everything. I'm pretty sure there's studies that can turn someone gay by eating some sort of ice cream. I'm pretty sure someone studied that, but studies, a lot of studies and a lot of scientists are wrong, or they do the research wrong. Just sorry.
It's just links, isn't it? And they say that the links are, you know...
I get the gut... and the gut brain and the yes, I do get that, and it's alternative medicine and but no. To the dog rape paper guys podcast. What? Who? What? Okay, so I think
Where the hell did? Where are we now?
yeah, I think we are. This is 3 hours, and I think we
Yeah, I'm already
skip
9
the rest.
minutes over my allotted time, and it looks like we're getting really weird.
Thank you so much, guys, for your time and honesty here. I really appreciate it. We have Blue
Anytime.
Rider and Roasted. Hope to do this again soonish.
Oh yeah, just let me know ahead of time, and I'm good.
Yeah,
Yeah, same
and if you guys have ideas on topics or stuff that you would like to talk about, let me know in the
Cool,
comments
yeah.
below, or just PM me or call me or message me because there's no comments below. Actually, it is gonna be on YouTube, so if you feel like you wanna rant about how your gluten-free diet helps you fix your autism, go ahead. Thank you guys. And
Thanks, bro.
I'm gonna go to the store, get some foods, and I'll be back in an hour-ish, and we'll play some Hitman 2. So, yeah. Much
All right,
love,
man, have a good one.
everybody.
Thanks for having us.
Quick sentence to end. Studies are like the best EA title that Hans
thanks for
Shodan
having
got.
me too,
You
mate.
get me. Oh yes, thank you. Did I not specify enough, Blue? That I really appreciate you being here, and yeah, sorry. Sorry, because it was only the autism thing. No, thank you. Yeah, and thank you for providing the TeamSpeak server here, Blue.
No worries, mate. Anytime.
Foxy, welcome. Goodbye. Yeah, let's see. Is there something in the Just Chatting channel that actually links to this that I can send you guys?
User disconnected from your channel.
User disconnected. Yeah.
Disconnected.
Yeah, I disconnected as well. I am disconnected. I'm sending you guys to Tazzy's. He's playing Sea of Thieves, which has nothing to do with this. But I love you guys anyway. And check back in a little over an hour, I think. We'll do some Hitman. Try to have some fun. I'm going for a long walk. Process this thing. And yeah, take care.